Transfer deadline day, bang up, the next big event in the calendar.
Exactly. You don't worry about Valentine's Day. Don't worry about Christmas, Easter. Don't worry about any of that. This is the big one.
Yeah, this is the big one. This one goes well. Fingers crossed. It's going to go well. It's going to go well. And hopefully COVID will then be done. People are, hey, hi, Karen, how are you? I hope you are well. Long time no see. Yeah, hopefully this one goes well. COVID will go away. And then August, we'll have another transfer deadline day. And it will be even bigger because people will spend some money. At the moment, you don't know who to blame, do you? Is it COVID? Is COVID the reason that people are not splashing the cash?
I think it probably is.
People being a little bit more responsible this year.
It's because I think as well. It's because they don't know what's going to happen with football as well. I mean, a couple of weeks' time. I mean, it probably won't now, but at the beginning of the transfer window, football could have got called off altogether. So what's the point in spending God knows how much money on someone and then not playing until next season? Or pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Woohoo! Hi guys. Hi Jareen. Hi Karen. Hi Dealbreak. Hi Charlie. We're already at 6 people watching, man. I mean, we've probably got more viewers than Sky Sports at the moment. I'm not going to lie.
We've got more viewers than Gil Vicente Stadium, haven't we?
Well, that's not.
That's like nearly a full crowd for them.
Yeah, it's not hard, is it? I've been invited over.
I saw. I hope you'll be taking me with you.
It's a
not to read, me.
Yeah, it's a romantic area. We could go over there and maybe do it down the local from Gil Vicente.
That'd be amazing.
It would, wouldn't it be? Sat out in a bar in Barcelos. I'm not taking clothes. I'm just taking the laptop and the microphone in again there. It'll be awesome.
You got to take a shirt and a tie though as well.
Oh yeah, obviously. I'll go dressed like this. I'll just wear it for 3 days in a row. I'll try my old trick that I used to do in hotels. I couldn't be asked to go and get an ironing board, so I used to try the old corgi trouser presses to iron my shirts.
Don't talk to me about ironing boards, mate.
Looking very dapper this evening. Thank you very much, Karen. You know, it's transfer deadline day. When you've got people suited and booted on Sky Sports, you've kind of got to make a little bit of an effort if you're going to compete. I mean, we both look better than the presenters on there. Not the females. They do get some of the hotties in for transfer deadline day.
I've met one of the females.
Which one?
Is it one of the Norwich goalkeepers or something? His wife on there now?
Yeah. Names don't matter, do they, Keep?
I can't remember her name.
But yes, so we're making the effort. You know, I am probably marginally younger than Jim White, but I look better for it. I mean, Jim White's got a lot more money and a lot more contacts. Definitely a lot more contacts.
Well, you do know me.
I mean, I'm notorious, but not in the same circles. Down the local to replace Sky Sports transfer show. Charlie, man, you took the words out of my mouth. I had a shave the other day, just enough to let a little bit of stubble grow back. So I
got a little bit of stubble as well.
Yeah, a little bit of stubs. But yes, so today is transfer deadline day. We are here especially for it. We've moved the show to cover it. You know, where's the point where would have been the point doing a Wednesday show this week, Coop?
Everyone would have known everything.
Exactly. We weren't bringing any people. We weren't people there.
We're here to break the news.
There we go. You do the words for me, man. We are here bringing the stories. I mean, don't get me wrong. We are stealing them from someone else, but we're bringing you the stories. If you don't have a TV on, you'll hear it here first. But yes, so today's the biggie. We've got special interviews going on. We have a new feature, which will become a feature of Down the Local moving forward. It's a special feature for Coop to be picking people out each week. And apparently it's controversial already this week. Controversial. He's already said controversial. He's not enlightened me any more than that. I know there's a lot of people in football that Coop doesn't like, so it was quite hard for me to narrow it down. We'll just have to wait and see. But we will be covering off the big stories, the big transfers, some of the little transfers. We've got our correspondent covering Italy. Pre-recorded yesterday, but me and Coop will then update you on any of the bits and pieces that have happened during the day today. The Italian transfer window closed at 5 o'clock today.
Italian, 7 o'clock.
When?
7.
7. Was it 5 o'clock their time, 7 o'clock here?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So the Italian transfer window is closed. They'll obviously have their little bits of paperwork still being pumped through like we do over here. When you think, oh, deal's not going through. And then it gets announced the next day.
Paperwork, man. Paperwork.
It's like VAR, isn't it? VAR are the transfers. Takes 10 minutes to make a decision and then they get it wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll be covering off there. We'll then be covering off the deals that have happened in Portugal, which are pretty much none. I'm not going to lie. Pretty much none. But we then have got our feature, but we'll be covering all the other stuff off and any other chat and bants and things like that going on. What's been happening in your world this week, Coop? Well, do you know what, mate? We've not done a show for 2 weeks. A week and a half. Obviously, I had to pull out last week. Very late notice, unfortunately. But so we haven't done a show for a week and a half. So what's been happening in the week and a half? I mean, if today is the most impressive day you've had in a week and a half. Oh, what? Right. As you do. Good work. Nice. So now, because you've got a cooker. For those of you who don't know, Coop is now a man with a cooker. He wired it in himself. He's alive, which is a start. And the cooker's still working. So you're cooking your own chicken now. It's just been on constantly. You know you can cook more than one thing at a time. You don't have to keep just rotating it. Yeah. Ditto. Oh dear. So, what deals have happened so far, Coop? What's been occurring today? What have you seen? Yep. Yes? Troy Parrott, yeah. I saw there was rumours about that. Was he not getting games at Millwall? Coop, you're on mute apparently. You've done something. Hello? Talk again. Apparently you were cooped. You were cooped.
Hello?
You were muted. Is it working now?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Fingers crossed that's now going to come through loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
There's a little bit of a delay. I could hear you, but apparently others couldn't.
Okay. So just talk normally then?
Yeah, just carry on your story. For
Yeah,
those of you who missed it, Coop's eating loads of chicken, cooked loads of chicken. His cooker's still working. He's not dead. He's got a gem of a transfer from the Norwich save on FM20. Troy Parrott, gone to Ipswich Town. Carry on.
Yeah, Troy Parrott to Ipswich Town. I mean, he played a few games last season for Tottenham, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, when they were desperately looking for a striker, he came in, didn't he?
And surely. I know he's still young, but surely he's got to be better than a League One side.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's left Millwall.
I didn't realise he was at Millwall.
Yeah, he started the season there.
Okay. I didn't see anything about his like them terminating the loan or anything beforehand.
Oh,
so
maybe it was only a 6-monther. But it does surprise me with because Harry Kane's now out injured, isn't he? And they play.
Harry Kane.
They played Bale up front the other day, and then they switched it to Bergwijn.
Yeah.
And he played through the middle. So it was a bizarre one when you've got a young proper striker there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Bale irritates me.
Yeah,
because he's obviously been brought in with the assumption that every season Harry Kane picks up an injury, sort of around the same time every year, doesn't he?
Yeah. Normally around the January time. Yeah.
But he's had barely any football, Gareth Bale.
Okay.
And they expect him to come in and be be the superstar that he was. And
Yeah.
I don't think he didn't even play against Marine in the FA Cup, did he? He was on the bench.
That's true. Yeah, he was.
You'd
He's on the
think-
bench. Yeah, but to be fair, they did change their team quite drastically. They bought on big guns in that one.
Yeah, but still. I mean, Vinicius looked good when he came on last night.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah.
He didn't score though, did he?
No, he didn't score. They lost, I think.
3-1, didn't they? Was it 3-1? Was that last night?
1-0.
Oh yeah, they got beat by Brighton, didn't they? Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
First home win of the season for Brighton.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Charlie says he was only being brought on as a sub. What is that? Troy Parrott at Millwall, yeah? Only being brought on as a sub.
Okay.
So I find that really weird. Why would you? I mean, I don't know. That's a bizarre one. It's a bizarre one.
I think Millwall are doing all right in the Championship, though, aren't they? I think they're sitting comfortably mid-table.
Yeah, but you bring him in as a hot prospect.
Yeah.
You'd kind of be expecting him to play, wouldn't you? He would be expecting to play. Maybe that's why he's dropped down.
Maybe.
You never know. Maybe he thinks he's better than Millwall, which is why he wasn't playing. So
Maybe, yeah. I was going to say, if he's better than Millwall, why has he gone to a lot? Yeah, but yeah, if he thinks he's better.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they've left him out and then moved on there. Dane Scarlett is better than Troy Parrott. Much more hungry. Never heard of Dane Scarlett. Yeah, apparently so. Never heard of him.
Okay. Never heard of him either. I don't
Or
really.
is Dane Scarlett at
Millwall.
I mean, either way, I've still never heard of him. But
Right.
so we'll do a quick roundup of who's where, what's happened, that sort of thing so far. So obviously Arsenal brought in Martin Odegaard.
Martin Odegaard.
Odegaard, sorry.
Odegaard. That's how it's pronounced, apparently.
Oh, is he correcting people already?
He is, yeah.
Pretentious.
He's all right with people calling him Odegaard, but he said it's Martin Odegaard.
Pretentious knobhead. It's only just.
I spoke to him earlier in the week.
Do you know what, mate? You've only just got over it. Chill yourself.
He's only got Oda here.
Yeah, this is what we do in England. We mispronounce foreign names. Trust me.
Paul
I've been doing it. I've been getting it for years. I tell people they still get it wrong. People struggle with Badgie. I get
but you're not famous, so people don't really pay attention to you.
Shut your face, man. Well famous. I'm on here with a shirt and tie and everything, man. I haven't dressed this well since having a job interview. I don't dress like this for work, mate.
Work? What's that?
Yeah. Even when I was going to the office, I didn't do that. Also coming in, Omar Rekic from Hertha.
That's to Liverpool, yeah?
No, that's to Arsenal.
Oh, no, yeah. Yeah. He was done, but when we spoke last week, though.
He was, yeah. I'm just literally going through the transfers that have happened in this window. A couple of guys, Matt Ryan, obviously in. Apparently, that's only a loan at the moment.
Is, yeah.
No, Serie A update. Deal breaker will be in about 10 minutes, I reckon. 8 o'clock, we'll get that one on. There's a guy come back, Tolaji Bola has come back off a loan from Rochdale. And obviously you've offloaded Saliba, Kolasinac, Mesut Ozil, Socrates, Matt Macy's gone out as well, Daniel Ballard and Matt Smith.
Matt Macy's good.
I've heard of Matt Macy before. Matt Smith.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, gone to Hibernian.
No, he's completely. It'll say loan, but he's actually gone.
No. It says undisclosed. Undisclosed.
It's because it's nothing. It's a loan until the end of the season. Then he's free agent.
Okay.
So, also today, Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, loads of talk. Hasn't gone anywhere yet though.
I think West Brom are hoping to get him.
Newcastle wanted him.
Yeah, Leicester wanted him as well, but Arsenal don't want to sell to a team they deem as a direct rival.
Okay,
but
so they're not going to sell him to Newcastle or West Brom then?
That's what I was going to say. Surely they're more of your direct rivals than Leicester.
At the moment, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what sort of surge are they expecting? Jesus.
Maitland-Niles has said that he wants minutes, so he wants to go out home, but he also because he wants to get in the England squad.
Yeah.
online to play in centre midfield. I'm thinking, if you're going online to play centre midfield, you ain't going to get in the England squad in centre midfield.
No chance. No chance. It'd be lucky to get into Leicester's centre midfield. So I mean, full.
Exactly.
And equally, know your place, son.
Yeah. Another one, Squadron Mustafi.
Yeah. I saw him potentially going to
Schalke
with the guy from Schalke going to Liverpool.
Yes.
Kabak or something.
So, that's the one. Yeah.
We'll quickly roll down. So obviously Villa bought in Morgan Sanson from Marseille. At the moment, he's the big money deal for this window, I think. 14 million. Offloaded Lovre Kalinic, who they paid a load of money for, and he's basically sat on the bench the whole time.
Yeah.
He's gone out on loan, and then a couple of youngsters have gone out. India Vasilev and Tyreek Wright, and then Conor Hourihane.
Swansea.
Gone to Swansea on loan, scored on his debut the other day.
Yeah, scored last couple of days ago as well.
Yeah.
2-2, I think.
And Henry Lansbury was released from his contract and apparently signed for someone today.
Okay.
Now, I don't know who it was. I saw something briefly earlier. But Henry Lansbury, a decent championship player, not a Prem player anymore. And always injured. So, good luck to whoever gets him. Brighton with the team.
Have you not missed one off Villa?
No.
Orjan Oyland?
No, he was released in the summer, mate. He hasn't played.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Released in the summer. He was released in the summer, and Norwich thought
signed as a free agent.
Yeah, Norwich thought, well, he was rubbish at Villa in the Prem. He was rubbish at Villa in the Championship, and he's not played for 6 months. Let's get him in. What a fool he is. He's not very good. Good luck to you. Brighton are the team who finally got the deal done for Moses Caicedo.
Yeah.
After loads of clubs being linked and touted, Moses Caicedo signed for Brighton for $4.5 million. They've bought in Percy Tau from Anderlecht on loan. Oh no, he's come back from Anderlecht. Sorry, end of his loan.
He had work permit issues, didn't he? Yeah.
And they've bought in a guy called Evan Ferguson from Bohemians on a free transfer. And out has gone a load of people that I've never, apart from Matt Ryan, Glenn Murray left and went to Nottingham Forest today.
Yeah, saw that.
Undisclosed fee, which I'm guessing is nothing because he's 37.
Yeah, I'd hate to speculate, to be honest.
I'd hate to sign Glenn Murray. Bernardo, the fullback, has gone to Red Bull Salzburg on loan as well. Burnley, desperately need of players. Bought no one in.
No.
And offloaded a load of people that are no ones. Chelsea don't need any players because they spent shed loads in the summer. And deal breaker, I apologise, mate. Spent loads of money in the summer, haven't performed under Frank. Frank has then been booted. And no plan B Tuchel has come in and taken over.
Yeah.
And they've not signed anyone. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there with Chelsea. They didn't need anyone, to be fair, but interesting.
I'm kind of wondering what Tomori's thinking.
Well,
because he went on loan and then Lampard leaves.
Well, the thing is, though, I think it's going to be interesting because the deals out of Chelsea, all like undisclosed, cheap deals, things like that. Charlie Brown has taken Snoopy to MK Dons.
Yeah.
Drinkwater has gone to Kasim Pasa.
Yeah.
On loan in Turkey. Now, don't get me wrong. Danny Drinkwater is gash. He was great for a season or two at Leicester. He has been dreadful ever since. He's been on loan upon loan upon loan, and he's gone to Kasim Pasa, saying that he's going to, refine his form. No,
just a quick one on the Henry Lansbury.
Yeah.
I believe he's gone to Bristol City.
Bristol City. Yeah. Good luck to you. Tottenham need a new defender. Tottenham need a few things. We'll get to Tottenham, Charlie. Have no fear, my friend. But yeah, the one's going out. Lucas Piazon. Being at Chelsea, I could not believe he was still at Chelsea. He was on
there like 9 years.
What?
9 years, wasn't he?
Something like that, yeah. But he's gone to Braga. and Fikayo Tomori going to AC Milan on loan.
Yeah.
We will cover off Palace and Everton, and then I reckon, we'll do halfway through the league, and then we'll pick up the rest of them after.
Yeah.
So Palace have bought in Jean-Philippe Matata from Mainz, only on loan, but it's a deal at the end of the season to sign him, I think.
Yeah.
Lots of good things I've heard about him, but it's a weird one that it's another striker, and they've not let any of their forwards go. So they've now got him.
Was that Everton?
No, Palace, sorry.
Okay.
So they've still got Benteke. They've still got Batshuayi. They've still got other dude. Benteke, Batshuayi, Jordan Ayew.
Oh, yeah.
Sahar, because he sometimes fills in up there.
Yeah.
They've brought in another striker. I mean, especially for a team that play fairly defensively under Roy Hodgson. It's an interesting one. Very interesting. I was shocked that they let Max Meyer go. I know he was on shed loads of cash.
Yeah.
But very tidy player, very good player whenever I've seen him. So
didn't play though, did he? Wasn't playing.
Sporadically.
Yeah.
They brought in Eze, and Eze basically played instead of him.
Yeah.
And then he's pretty decent, yeah. Two other youngsters that have been released that, again, they've gone really low down, Tranmere and Plymouth, so God knows. Everton obviously went crazy in the summer. Haven't bought anyone in.
I heard that they were rejected today by Diego Costa.
Really?
Yeah, he rejected a move to Everton, apparently.
Yeah, she's Liverpool, isn't it, man? Probably got a nice car, wants to keep the wheels.
I mean, Diego Costa down at Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think he'd have fitted in perfectly, to be honest.
Maybe. Well, yeah, to be fair, nightlife. It's probably because there's no places open for him to go and party.
Yeah, he'll be to Dubai or somewhere, wouldn't he?
Exactly. Everton obviously also offloading Cenk Tosun to Besiktas. Yannick Bolasie going out on loan to Borough. Matthew Pennington dropping out. Jared Branthwaite, who's someone who's really sort of touted at the moment, centre back at Everton, gone on loan to Blackburn for the rest of the season. Apparently Cenk Tosun's gone to Besiktas again. He's down here twice. So
okay.
I thought he'd put on a bit of timber when I last saw him play. So maybe they've just split him in two and sent him as two strikers to Besiktas.
Was that a goal you last saw him play?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
It certainly wasn't for Everton.
No. And Jonas Lossal has gone back to FC Midtjylland.
Midtjylland.
Yep. Fulham, no one in. Stefan Johansson out. And then some other guy to MK Dons. Stefan Johansson going to QPR on loan. Leeds, no one in. And no one out, really. The only one is Rafa Mujica.
I'm pretty sure that Fulham have signed a striker.
Ooh.
Or are looking at a striker.
They may well be looking. He's not a done deal yet if they are.
But apparently he scored 2 goals.
Ever?
No, this season. But hasn't been very prolific in his previous seasons either.
To be fair, sounds like a Fulham forward. Let's go and spend loads of money on a striker who can't perform in the Premier League.
It's just because of the issues they're having with Mitrovic, I think.
Yeah. Steve Marley. I give you Steve Marley.
Lewis Boamorte.
I bring you. I bring you pain and suffering amongst Fulham strikers. Leicester. Obviously have had 2 people come back in from loans, not signed anyone essentially, but they've had centre-back come back in, Filip Benkovic, who I'm surprised hasn't played more because he looks quite tidy whenever I've seen him involved. But obviously... Sorry?
Where's he been?
Been at Cardiff.
Okay.
But he's always looked quite tidy whenever I've seen him playing for Leicester. He's made a few appearances. But obviously they've got Soyuncu and...
Fofana.
Who?
Fofana.
Fofana. And also Johnny Evans. So he sort of...
And still Wes Morgan.
Yeah, so he's fourth, fifth choice, isn't he? So, and the other one is Matty James, formerly of the Manchester United Academy, I think. Out has gone Damari Gray to Bayer Leverkusen. Now, I did not know that. Yeah, it's a good move for him. Slimani went to Lyon.
Yeah, he went straight. He went at the beginning, didn't he?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Matty James has gone back out on loan, and Benkovic has gone back out on loan as well. Kelly, oi, how are you? So Benkovic has actually dropped down a level, and he's gone to the Belgian top flight for Louvain.
Yeah.
Darnell Fisher has gone to Wimbledon. Daniel Everson has gone to Preston. Liverpool.
Who?
Daniel.
Did you say Darnell Fisher?
Darnell Fisher.
Are you sure he's not gone to Middlesbrough?
No, Darnell Fisher has gone. I think was he at Middlesbrough? No, it says here AFC Wimbledon.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Darnell Fisher who man-marked Todd Cantwell on Saturday.
Fair.
Against Norwich.
Fair enough.
Is he a right back?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at Middlesbrough.
Oh, no. Wasn't that? No, that's Darnell Furlong you're thinking of.
Are you sure?
I think so. Darnell Furlong. Paul Furlong's son was at QPR, and I'm pretty sure he went to Borough. You're checking it?
I am going to check it.
Liverpool, no one in. Liam Miller out. And Adam Lewis out. Who? I hear you ask. I don't know. Go.
But they have got someone in there, Liverpool. They've got a centre-back, haven't they, from Preston?
Has that been done now? Is that completed?
It has been done, I think, yeah.
Cool. So Ben Davies has been completed. And obviously they've got Kakak as well. Is it Kakak? Or something like that, Kalak?
Is that the
guy from Schalke?
Yeah, that's the one.
So they're both obviously looking at still being done as well.
Yeah.
And then we're hitting Man City. But we're going to stop there, guys. We're going to stop there because it's now time for our roundup of all things Italian football. So this guy was one of the original hosts on Down the Local. He was a music streamer as well. Ben Davies has been done. Is that Kelly? Yeah, confirming Ben Davies.
Darnell Fisher is at Middlesbrough.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Only because Todd Cantwell could not get an inch between them all game.
And there we go. Kelly confirming it's Kabak.
Okay.
Cool. This is why we have a chat. Just to fill us in on the gaps, man. Fill us in
on the gaps. You don't get this on Sky Sports, do you?
Exactly. They have all of the information at their fingertip. We have all of the information that they have at their fingertip. But we bring it into a more jovial, entertaining kind of way. Because you won't get these sorts of things. You won't get these sort of screen swaps on Sky Sports News, Transfer Centre. You won't get anything like this. Guys, I'd like to reintroduce you to former co-host of the show, currently our Italian correspondent. Maybe we'll be able to get back involved again at some point in the future. We may be able to work out how we get more than two people on the screen. I mean, technical advances and all that kind of stuff, guys. But for the short term, let's bring back in Sean himself. Welcome to Sean himself. Sean is going to be our Italian football correspondent for the season, a Juventus supporter, and dressed significantly different from about an hour ago when we first done this interview. And my technical knowledge meant that I forgot to press the fucking record button.
Well, Neil, I think that's a bit harsh on your technical, proficiencies. I think you're doing yourself a very big disservice there.
Oh, I didn't press record, mate. It's a simple thing. Sean, let people know a little bit about yourself. For new guys in on Down the Local, give people an idea of a little bit about you, mate.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I am Sean himself. I began streaming on Twitch just under a year ago, where I used to play music. I then started doing a football vodcast with Neil called Down the Local, which has since been taken over by him, and he's doing a fantastic job keeping it going since I started to go back into employment due to the COVID issues. So, long-time football nut and a lover of the Italian league. So.
Cool. Good stuff. So yeah, as Sean said, we previously, Sean started to do the Down the Local. It was something with him and Dealbreaker Jay, who is a regular supporter of the Badgie 79 stuff and has been on the podcast ever since. And obviously I then took over after Dealbreaker could not fulfill a couple of the sessions, and I carried it on from there. Sean then, as he says, had to step away, but do you know what? It's something that I genuinely missed. This got me into streaming initially. Yeah, this got me into streaming initially. I've done the other stuff, but having that genuine interaction with someone else has been such a big thing, and I enjoy doing the streams that I do.
With players that are maybe not up to his standards and stuff like that, which has been a very interesting dynamic. So, but we are seeing, obviously, say a very clear top 7. The rest of the league, it's pretty tit for tat, and we've got a couple of interesting teams languishing down in the bottom of the league, and like we talked about previously, really struggling to find their feet.
I have no knowledge of
I've
this
been on here before, Neil.
Deja vu. I have no knowledge of this previously.
I'm here to do Italian, mate. Sorry.
Fluent though, aren't I? So, yes. So, obviously Milan top of the table at the moment with Inter very close behind, and then Juve a few points adrift. And you were saying that Parma are the big surprise, struggling second from bottom in the table at the moment as well. But I think, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you kind of, it's almost a hark back to 20, 25 years ago, where the two Milan teams are the two main teams. I mean, even further than that, when you think about them having the Dutch trio and the German trio of Matthias Bremer and Klinsmann, and you had you had Hullet, Rijkaard, and the other guy, Van Basten. Yes. Arguably the best one of the three, but his name escaped me.
Absolutely, yeah. There's been so many Vans.
Van Dobelo, Van Transit. No, Van Basten. So you had that kind of that privileged era for the two Milan teams, the San Siro era. Obviously, as we say, Juve have been dominating for X amount of years. Napoli have put up a really good fight over the last few years, but never really got close enough. I think there was a couple of years where they finished maybe a few points adrift.
Yeah, it's been a few really close battles, obviously, between Juventus and Napoli. And arguably, you'd say Napoli were the better team, the more consistent team at the time, but just would always come unstuck against that one team that were just plucky and caught them out, as we see many times. I mean, you just have to look at PSG losing today to Lorient, It was those type of results that ended up costing them the title effectively.
Yeah, and I think it's good to see. I mean, Juve have always been the team in Italy that I've followed. and it's kind of it's been interesting to see that transition. And I think obviously with Pirlo going in, I know we had a conversation right at the very start. Actually, it was on down the local when Pirlo went in as the under-23 manager, and I remember saying at the time, he's been brought in to take over that job. He's going to have that gig very soon, and that's the reason they've brought him in. And at the time, you were like, no, Juve will not do that. They will always go for someone a bit more tried and tested. And do you think Pirlo will get that chance to make it work? I mean, he's had quite a long time considering the success they've had, and he hasn't necessarily delivered yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting thing, actually, funny enough. I mean, we've obviously seen this week Frank Lampard be removed from the Chelsea job. And I kind of see some similarities in that. I think Frank went into that job and he couldn't fail when he went into that job because he was under a transfer embargo. So regardless, he was always going to succeed in his first season, regardless. So, and I kind of feel maybe there's a little bit of that with Pirlo. You know, you've got the Ronaldo effect there. You've still got Ronaldo there. So arguably, no one could fail with Juventus. Look at Maurizio Sarri last season. Everyone said how poor Juventus were under Maurizio Sarri, and you know the Sarri ball thing, and we were poor. Very poor for large parts of seasons. However, we won against, we won the Serie A, obviously against a much improved Internazionale side. So now all of a sudden seeing Pirlo in the job, it's quite interesting. I remember reading obviously about Juventus when they originally appointed Maurizio Sarri, and obviously the great work he done at Napoli. Less so at Chelsea, but he was mainly brought into Juventus to play attacking front foot football, to play Sarri ball, to play this high press, high intensity, winning the ball in the opposition's lower third, and then scoring those goals, really pushing them back. So he was brought in. That didn't happen. It was really, really drab football. So I think we was all expecting a bit of a culture change. We were all expecting a bit of an improvement in tactics, in ethos, with Pirlo coming in. But I'm really failing to see it. We're seeing some very, very below par performances from some really key players. You know, it's unfortunately the stats escape me, but it'd be interesting to see how many clean sheets Juventus have got this season, because I think they're very few and far between, and that's unlike Juve.
Yeah. No, very much so, very much so. So from a point of view of looking at kind of like the teams that are overperforming and teams that are underperforming, I know obviously Milan, you don't feel that they've got a squad necessarily capable of winning Serie A, but
I think going into this season, certainly, AC Milan were not in many people's recommendations for being the winner of Serie A. I think everyone saw Inter Milan as the favourites, maybe just ever so slightly ahead of Juventus, ever so slightly. I think there's more the managerial change. And obviously looking at Juventus's their transactions they made in the summer, they didn't really sign anyone, frankly.
And it's a very aging team as well, isn't it? Across
they've obviously brought in, bizarrely, a couple of youngsters in Weston McKennie and Federico Chiesa. They obviously then went and brought in Alvaro Morata. So, they obviously brought in a bit of age along with some youth as well. So, and obviously had Artur come in with Miralem Pjanic going the other way, which I think that really raised a few eyebrows. I know we certainly talked about that.
I always said I was very surprised, especially with Pirlo going in, because Pjanic seemed to be the sort of player who would fit exactly in. If Pirlo was going to build a team in his image, you would have thought Pjanic should be a key part of that, at least in the first season. So, but I mean, when
you look at obviously their careers as well, Pirlo being at Juventus and him and Miralem kind of, as one was walking out the other door, the other one was coming in. So there was that exchange anyways. So it would have made sense obviously for Miralem to stay. When Pirlo came in, but I appreciate these things happen on a board level as well, and I'm sure Andrea didn't really have much of a say in that, frankly.
No, it almost seemed as though a deal was kind of done anyway. This is who they want, and the only way they're getting him is by passing this guy out as well. So But yeah, cool. Okay, so Milan possibly a little bit of a surprise to be top at the moment. Other shocks, I know we sort of mentioned briefly Parma being bottom end of the table. Shock to the world.
Not necessarily shock to the world. I think it's a shock because they've had, two really good seasons. That's maybe in part into obviously Dejan Kulusevski leaving at the end of last season to join up with Juventus, and Parma just being very, very profligate in front of goal. The goals have been very, very hard to come by, which is something obviously we'll talk a little bit, in the transfers, because they've tried their hardest to rectify that. And there's a couple of interesting stats in who they brought in to try and rectify that. But you're seeing an aging side that can't quite pull those results out the bag like they used to. There's a few times last season where you had someone like Bruno Alves from centre back scoring free kicks to win games, and that's not happening this season. Gervinho is not turning it on. He's 33 now. You can't expect someone who's a tricky, speedy winger to be, pulling out those kind of goals when he's 33 years of age. So it's somewhat no surprise to see them down there. But I think they've just got too much quality really to be languishing down that part of the league. Looking down there as well at the bottom of the league, you've got Torino sat in 17th.
Okay.
On 15 points. They're joint with Calgary, who are on 18th. So, once again, two big teams who have been, stalwarts in Serie A for the last decade.
Yeah.
I sat down there, right down the bottom of the league with Parma, who have recently rejuvenated. So,
yes, yeah.
So there is quite a few surprises. You start to look up the league, you see teams like Benevento, who are sitting 12th, nearly, in the top half of the league, which is incredible for such a small side. So
yes, yeah. Well, Benevento,
it's been a real shake-up in Serie A.
Yeah, Benevento were definitely one of the teams that were favourites they were expected to go down without a trace, weren't they? As they came back, as they came up. Because isn't it the first time they've ever been in the top flight, or it must be? It's one of the few times
they have been. Yeah, in past, I believe they got relegated and came straight back up again. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah, they're making a much better fist of it this time. So
at the midway point, they can be happy. They can have a box ticked.
Cool. Very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Cool. So in the top 7, obviously we've got at the moment AC, followed by Inter, followed by Juve. Is it then Napoli, Atalanta, Lazio? So
after Napoli's win today, 2-0 at home to Parma, they are currently sitting in 4th, just behind of Juventus, with Roma in 5th. Right. And then you've got their Rome counterparts, Lazio, sitting behind them, with Atalanta sitting in 7th, just outside of the European qualification places.
Cool. Okay. Do you know what? From plucking that out, I wasn't far out. I just went on the team I thought would be at the top. I'm impressed with myself. Well done, me. Pat on the back. So, obviously, moving on from there, we are now looking at the transfer window. Movers and shakers. What are we looking at? Where are people at? Where have they gone? Who's come in? What are the shocks? Any shocks in there?
Not necessarily shocks. I mean, there's obviously been, as you say, moves here, there, and thither of different players going this, that, and the other. And of course, in the way that the Italian league tends to work, and the way the Italian transfers tend to work, there's a few little cryptic ones in there, and some weird dealings that we find it very strange in the English Premier League. So,
good old co-owns.
Oh, it's very interesting part owning, and we're going to buy that player, but give money back for this one, so which obviously we'll come on to. So this is quite interesting. Why can't you just do a straight player exchange just like we do on Football Manager? But no. Here's
10 million in this guy. Job done.
Yeah, exactly. Job's done. But no, we're not going to have any of that. So unfortunately, I've obviously picked out a few of the the more notable transfers, and we'll just run through them and see how, what, and where they may affect things moving forward. So one of the first ones to be concluded during the January transfer was Mario Mandzukic joining up with AC Milan.
Yes.
Obviously the rivals of Juventus, where he spent a good 4 seasons there. Obviously with the likes of Andrea Pirlo in the side. So very seasoned to the to Serie A. And I think he was brought in really as an alternative source of firepower to the slightly injury-prone Zlatan Ibrahimovic of this season, coupled with his ill discipline, as we've seen in the Supercopa.
Yes,
I think he was seen as a bit more of a steadfast, reliable target man that they could call upon, who had an eye for goals. So which I think could be a very, very shrewd signing when you see that they're just sitting just ahead of Inter Milan at the minute. Bringing in an experienced striker is a pretty good deal on a free transfer. I think that's a really, really good one. Obviously, they've got Rafael Leao there, who for me I saw as more of a target man, but they've been playing him wide left and it seems to be paying off. So
so he's got some pace about him as well, though, hasn't he, Leao? So
yeah, exactly. He sort of reminds me of a slightly more powerful Marcus Rashford. So so you can understand why they're playing him out wide, and if he's getting results and he's getting goals and assists from there, then it makes perfect sense to say bringing someone of Mandzukic's quality to supplement that forward attack and actually just get the best out of a player in a position where they feel that it's being a benefit to the sides.
And having watched Mandzukic over years as well, he never seems to be an out-and-out goal scorer. I mean, the amount of clubs he's gone to where they kind of played him almost as that wider man. If Milan are playing him through the middle and they've got someone like Leao there, his hold-up play could actually make Leao look even better.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And, we watched at times as well under Massimo Allegri at Juventus. He actually started playing Mandzukic out wide as almost a winger, as a wide target man at the time, which was really, really bizarre. And but as you say, he's a bit like an Edison Cavani. His physical attributes and his sprinting and the amount of ground he covers is really underrated. He
reminds me of a significantly better version of a Vika Olic.
Yeah.
Who was was it Munich in the end, wasn't he? It was at Bayern. And he was someone who, from recollection, was a big, chunky, target man looking guy, but was quite mobile and ended up playing most of the time out wide because fullbacks couldn't compete. And if a cross comes in and he's at the far post, he's going to out jump them every time.
Yeah. So once again, he offers a slightly different dimension to AC Milan. I mean, they've got some really good wide players anyways. Jens Petter Hauge, who they signed in the summer. You've got Samuel Castillejo, you've got Brahim Diaz, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who's been playing slightly further forward. And so he's just sharpened what was already a very pointy stick.
Yeah, very much so. So just touching on the Zlatan thing. Obviously, there was the spat between him and Romelu Lukaku, and I've seen a few things going around regarding if that ended up being a proper fight. Who wins?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I think, to get a bit of celebrity deathmatch going on, that's what we need right here. I think that's, I want to pay to see that. I think that'd be a really good boxing match. So we don't want none of that YouTube fucking, who's that prick that's on there at the minute? Oh, my language has already gone to shit.
So we'll put you on after Watershed.
We'll bleep all that out. But you see all these YouTube boxers. We don't want to see that.
No, we want it full UFC.
We want Ibrahimovic against Lukaku. That's what we want.
And what we want, from recollection, the guy who done Celebrity Deathmatch was very bald, the referee. So we could get Kalina in. Pierluigi Lucchina back in the ring.
Yeah, Italian in there. He'd love it.
He'd love it. But yeah,
those eyes bulging out of his skull. He'd be all over it.
Yeah, my money's on Zlatan. I think Lukaku, he's got the power. He'll try and charge him, but he's got no touch, has he? He'll go to charge him. Zlatan will sidestep him. Lukaku will get his head stuck in the ring cage. It'll just, mate.
I think there was I'd love to find it, but there's obviously it goes back a bit further than obviously their little spat in the Supercopa.
Right.
Apparently they collided at Manchester United.
Yes. No, I did. I remember seeing that. Hearing that. Yeah.
I can't remember the exact terms, but I think Romelu kind of, in slight arrogance, kind of had a bit of a like a square up to Zlatan. And Zlatan, in his usual sense, said, "I'll tell you what, we'll make a bet. Every time you have a good first touch this season, I'll give you £100."
Yeah.
But he didn't make the bet or something like that, and it was like, So there was already
Yeah.
previous, and I think after obviously Inter won the Supercoppa, they Romelu posted a picture on his Instagram, because everything's on Instagram nowadays.
Obviously,
so,
yeah.
And saying
Everything about me. Yeah.
The king has been dethroned, which related to a comment he made about Zlatan when he was at Manchester United, calling Zlatan the king. So, as I say, a lot of handbags at dawn.
Interesting. Cool. So that's the Milan wrap up of transfers. Mandzukic going in. What else has happened?
Yeah, I mean, also at Milan, we saw Matteo Musacchio leave, who's a long-standing centre-back there. No big loss, really. He's moved on. We've also seen some movers down towards the bottom of the league. We talked about, obviously, Parma, but also Udinese, who've been really lacking firepower as of recent and struggling to see off games and score goals, despite having the talents of Rodrigo de Paul and Ignacio Puchetto back in their side, as well as the wily old Roberto Pereira. So they decided to further reinforce that by bringing in Gerard Deulofeu, who's still only 26 years of age.
I know.
I seem to think he was much older than that. He seems to have been around forever, since his Barca days. But he's been here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, he's been at Milan, so he's got experience of Serie A. But they've brought him in from Watford for an undisclosed fee to join up with, say, that wealth of attack that they've now built there, along with Fernando Llorente, who they've brought in on a free transfer from Napoli. So once again, Udinese have done much similar as Milan and sharpened what was a slightly blunter, but now a more pointy stick.
Yes. And I think it's always interesting as well with Udinese having the same owners as Watford. So when you say they've bought in an undisclosed fee, they're not really, have they? I mean, all they've done is they've transferred it from one account to another.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like me every payday. That's all Udinese have done.
They've just Tipexed over it and changed the name.
Exactly.
That's all it takes.
It's a surefire way, though, of Watford never getting done for financial fair play.
It is, yeah. Fair play to them. And, well, not fair play to them. Financial fair play to them.
Financial fair play to them, yeah. They can get away with it because they'll just make sure that they never, if they want to move someone from one to the other, free transfer, job done.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is how the co-ownership happens, and and teams that have these affiliate clubs and whatnot. So, if it's a way around the rules, then fair play. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see though, because obviously Udinese now have literally 50% of a Watford team that just got relegated. Admittedly, a chunk of those players are better than the Championship, but it is still a team that wasn't good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's very interesting to see how that's worked out. As you say, with Gerard Deulofeu rather have languished down in the Championship, playing for Watford, who aren't doing great, let's be honest. In the Championship, they're in okay. They're plodding along, they're getting results here and there, but they're not. They don't look like they're going to come straight back up to the Premier League. So I think he's wanted to push himself to the higher standards. Of course, we've got to remember there's Euros coming up this season.
Yep.
And he's obviously got a very, very small outside chance of getting into the Euro squad. So,
he's very, 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 very small.
Very, yeah.
There's going to have to be a lot of issues within Spain for that to happen, I think. But
I mean, you've seen like the likes of Ansu Fati obviously getting into the Spain squad, and Pedri and players like that. So these youngsters, he's a bit more of a steadfast alternative to those. And once again, when we talked about Deulofeu in previous shows, he is that type of player who can change a game.
Yes,
he can offer
definitely
something different. So I think it's a very good move for him to go play for a team in one of the top 5 leagues, and stake his case to be obviously in that Euro squad.
Yep, no, fair enough.
So, looking around, obviously, the Serie A, one of the other big transfers that happened was Papu Gomez moving on to Spain, going to Sevilla for a cool 4.95 million. Which I think, if we was to kind of look at it on paper, then I think that's an absolutely phenomenal deal. Papu Gomez, who was in the top 3 players for goals and assists in 2 of the last 3 seasons, so he's quite a player, really gifted, silky, smooth player. He can kind of do a bit of everything. So, but unfortunately fell out with favour at Bergamo with Giampiero Gasparini. due to, once again, a bit more handbags at dawn. Gasperini accused Papu Gomez of letting the team down and being selfish for not tracking back and doing the ugly side of the work.
Which is bizarre, because let's be fair, one of the things that Gomez could never be accused of is letting that Atalanta team down. They wouldn't have been in the position they are had it not been for him over the last 3 years.
Absolutely, and he's stuck with Atalanta when, as you say, that they were seeing some of the fantastic players, being brought and sold left, right, and centre. So he stayed there and, as I say, helped that team grow into what it is, and it's become a real force in Serie A over the last 3 seasons. So it was a real surprise to kind of see it be a bit of an acrimonious fallout, and we're led to believe that he kind of met his peace with the board, but it was between the head coach and him that the issues lied. So obviously Gasperini accused him of this, and he took to Instagram and spammed his Instagram story with videos of him tracking back and winning the ball again, and so in a very cryptic message.
It's always interesting with something like that, though, because I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was playing, I was lazy, but if all my games were recorded, I could make a 5-minute show reel with me tracking back and making tackles over the space of 5 years. It's not a big shout, is it, in the end?
But, I was going to say, I'll be a demon goal scorer based on that. So
well, exactly.
Box in the box, but I'm not. So
if you wanted a show reel, I'm in there. You can put me alongside Letitia. But it's not the same. But I think
it's slightly different to say the Papu Gomez deal. So
I find it very bizarre. I find it very bizarre that it's only 4.95 mil. I find it very bizarre that Sevilla were really the only suitors, and that, I mean, part of me thinks, is there an element of his age? He's 32 now. Was an age element in there for the lack of interest? Because let's be fair, it's not like he's had 3 good seasons and then just dropped off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
He's
constantly. I think Papu Gomez, as I say, his name's always popped up across Europe, as I say, over the last 5 years. It's almost a shame that it's kind of happened this way at such a late point in his career, because if he decided to go to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Manchester City or Liverpool 3 years ago, when really he should have, we'd be talking about him as one of the best players in Europe at the minute. But unfortunately, as I say, he, and fair play to him, he decided to stay in Bergamo where he felt comfortable, and he obviously felt like he had a future in that team. And it's come down to, say, Gasperini's kind of bullish decision to try and change the way that Atalanta are playing at the minute. And I say, and quote unquote, his comment on Papu Gomez was that he struggled to adapt to their change in play, which basically meant that they wanted to play a more negative style of football. So,
and when you've been playing positive football for 3 years and it's been successful, you probably would get a little bit upset.
Yeah, absolutely. Same.
Especially if you're the leader of the team. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a real shame. Obviously, an interesting side note on that was reading a report that Arsenal obviously turned down an opportunity to pursue a deal for Gomez because their main criteria was they wanted to bring in someone young in the attacking midfield position, obviously from Ozil leaving, which seemed a bit bizarre as well. They wanted to bring someone in for a player who wasn't registered in the squad. But hey, this is Arsenal, so I'm not going to say anything further on that.
But they've also brought in a young player with no clause to buy.
Yeah. So I mean, originally they were chasing a deal for Julian Brandt from Borussia Dortmund, who's been there for 18 months and has struggled to establish himself in Borussia's team, mainly because he's not really up to standard for the quality that they have in that side. In my opinion, watching Julian Brandt play, he's one of those, he always takes 5 touches too many, so he runs himself into cul-de-sacs. But Arsenal were very, very keen to try and bring him in. He was their number 1 target, but Dortmund made it very clear, and Julian Brandt's team made it very clear that he was not interested in going to Arsenal. So instead of looking at a very cheap alternative for, as you say, a proven quality player at the highest level, which is probably what Arsenal need right now. They decided to bring in Martin Odegaard on a strange loan deal, which is not going to benefit anyone.
No. So I think looking back, so obviously there's no real moves at Inter currently. Bearing in mind, guys, we are recording this the day before transfer deadline day. This is not like, well, it's live for us. It's not live for you. So there could be something that happens, but obviously we will keep you up to date on that. Back to the studio. No, not yet.
We'll go over to Chris Kumara.
Yeah. but there could be stuff happens over the next sort of 24 hours that suddenly crops up. But it's interesting to see that obviously Inter haven't sold anyone, but haven't really bought in anyone. Comfortable with the squad they've got, which is a good thing from their point of view, because a lot of talk about Lautaro Martinez going and things like that, but obviously he's still there.
I think he's definitely going to be there till the end of the season. Obviously, the one transfer that's been rumbling on throughout January has been Edin Dzeko arriving at the San Siro for Internazionale. There was an agreement that he would join Inter, with Alexis Sanchez going the other way, but there was a breakdown on the Roma end of things because they refused to financially sanction the deal for Sanchez. So there was a breakdown on that end, which meant that Dzeko stayed at Roma, as far as we know. So once again, that might change on deadline day, and we could see Sanchez going the opposite way. But I think that's highly unlikely that that's going to happen, just obviously due to the finances involved. So, and not to mention, obviously, Roma bringing in Stefan El Shawari on a free deal.
Yes. So, coming back over from China, where he's been for the last couple of years.
Once again, that was a deal that was due to happen on deadline day in the summer, but actually fell through because they were expecting Dzeko to leave. So he was going to go to Juventus, which would then free up the funds so they could afford El Shawari to come back to Roma. But of course, that deal didn't happen. Juventus opted for Morata instead. So that put the Dzeko deal dead in the water. They waited till deadline day, hoping that they could pile him off to someone, or someone would take him at the last minute. And Stefan El Shawari had agreed terms. He had done his medical. He was sitting there ready to sign, and they were waiting on Dzeko to leave. But unfortunately, the player decided to stay at Roma. So thankfully for him, he's able to sign off that deal, and he can now go back to Italy.
Cool. So we've covered off at Atalanta. Juventus, youngster in, youngster out?
Yeah, youngster in, youngster out. So Martin Portanova left, 20-year-old attacking midfielder, scored in the Coppa Italia for Juventus only a week before he decided to leave to head to Genoa. And they brought in Nicolo Rovella, who's a 19-year-old defensive midfielder. Don't really know too much about. He's only had 7 starts in Serie A and 2 substitute appearances this season. So, and looks fairly accomplished. I think there's a few kind of similarities to obviously Sandro Tonelli, who's plying his trade at AC Milan, and of course the similarities to Juventus head coach Andrea Pirlo. So they're bringing in a youngster, 19-year-old. I don't think there's anything that we can really read into too much just yet, apart from the fact that there was quite a substantial financial deal in it, in which they paid 16.2 million to bring him in. With 9 million coming in for Portanova, so it's a net outlay of 7.2 million, which seems quite a considerable amount. So obviously the hierarchy at Juventus see something in
obviously done their scouting.
So which is it brings me on to a slight little side note which I was reading about, is apparently Juventus's acquisition of Weston McKennie on a loan deal this summer, talking about how that deal come about was through boredom, apparently.
Right.
I know, this is quite an interesting story, and I thought it was quite discreditous towards Weston. Was that apparently, obviously, the Bundesliga was the first league to start back up after COVID.
Yes.
So apparently, a lot of the Juventus scouts decided to go to watch a lot of the German games, and that's how they found Weston McKennie. They hadn't really paid much attention to him beforehand, which once again was a bit of a backhanded compliment on that one on Weston, who's having a fine season.
And also a bit worrying because we knew about him.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Hey, Neil, all I'm saying, okay, if there's a top team out there looking for some scouts,
just give us a shout. God, we got it. We got this. We've got this.
Yeah, give us money, please.
Yeah, pay money. So obviously coming off you, Udinese, Juve, Roma have got the El Shaarawy deal going on. Lazio, Napoli. Obviously, we know Napoli have offloaded Llorente. Any scope on the Lazio or Napoli front with people coming in or out?
No, nothing really. Napoli let Kevin Malquet, who's a French right back, 29 years of age. He's moved on to Fiorentina. That's all that's really going on in regards to those teams at this moment. I suppose the only other deal of note obviously comes back down towards the bottom of the league, and that is the struggling Parma, who have outlaid 11.7 million on Dennis Mann, in from Steaua Bucharest, who's been linked with Manchester United for as long as I can remember. So since he made his Champions League debut, I think at the age of 17, with Steaua Bucharest. So long-standing, he seemed to have stayed there quite a while. So he's now 22 years of age. He joins Parma with a current goal tally of 14 goals this season, which is interestingly the exact same amount the entire Parma team have accumulated so far this season in 19 games. And in fact, is one more goal than their points tally in Serie A. So they're currently sat on 13 points. So
no pressure on
someone who's obviously got a slight eye for goal at the minute. They're hoping will change their fortunes. Currently down in 19th.
It's not a massive goal tally for a big outlay for a guy playing in the Romanian league that you're living in hope will bring the goals to keep you up. I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen these guys come in and they are fantastic from day one. He's 22. It's a big ask. It is a big ask and a big expectation to put on him. But we shall see. We shall see. Obviously, they've done their rigorous scouting. As you say, it's the same amount of goals as the whole team has got. From his point of view, if he goes in there and he doesn't get many goals, the team weren't scoring. He's not getting any of the creation behind him. He's not getting the support. And if he does score the goals, he's a hero. It's kind of a no-lose situation from Dennis Mann's point of view, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you get him playing in an elite league in Europe. It's a definite step up in his career. And I think, should the worst come to worst and Parma do get relegated, I think there will be people that will take him on, whether that's in Liga or in the Bundesliga. So I think it's a bit of a nothing deal for him to go in there, and for Parma it could quite well save their season. So Parma are known for making quite a few shrewd deals. We look at Gervinho and Kulusevski and Bruno Alves. So they may have come up trumps with this one, but for me, 11.7 million is a lot of money for a team in their position as well, who we know financially aren't as proficient as some of the others around them.
Definitely. Cool. So let's move on from transfers to your predictions. What are you expecting? What are you thinking? End of season. We are midpoint. Who wins Serie for you?
For me, I mean, looking at the way the season's playing out at the minute, I strongly believe that Inter Milan are going to go on to win the Scudetto. That they, for me, although having some poor results early on in the season, they look the more consistent. They pick up the more consistent wins. They win the important games. We just have to look at their win in Turin just 2 weeks ago. Yes. They absolutely outclassed Juventus on that day, who looked completely toothless. They well and truly negated every bit of Juventus's class, which as we know, with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, he was completely absent on that day, and that's only a compliment to the way that Inter Milan played. So I think when you've got to look on performances like that, I strongly believe that they will prevail in this season. I think AC Milan have started to hit a bit of a rocky road. They are winning games, but obviously with Zlatan being in and out of the side, they're relying on other players, pulling rabbits out of the hat. Yeah, they do have some really consistent players throughout the team. Obviously, with Donnarumma in goal, with Franck Kessié has been outstanding this season, and they've looked very solid at the back with the likes of Romagnoli and Calabria and whatnot. So they look like a very strong unit. I just think that as the season unfolds, that they will fade away a bit. So for me, I see Inter Milan being the ones that will pull out ahead. I think Juventus will keep on their coattails, but it's frankly seeing them only 6 points off the top of the league at the minute, and the way they've been playing this season is phenomenal, really, because they're not playing very well at all. So who knows? Obviously, down the bottom of the league, I think Parma, I think Torino have got enough about them to stay up. Similar with Calgary as well, who have obviously they've brought the Ninja back on a loan deal. Raja Nainggolan signed back for Calgary from the failed spell at Inter Milan. So fingers crossed that will galvanise the team in Calgary. So I think there's enough about them down there. So I think as the season unfolds, I think we'll see Inter Milan pull away. And actually the interesting thing will be seeing the bottom of the league and seeing who actually stays up.
Cool. Sean, it has been an absolute pleasure to get you back on. As we said before, guys, this will be an ongoing feature. We will have Sean here as a regular, as a minimum on a monthly basis, as our Italian correspondent, keep us up to date on what's been going on a regular basis within Serie A and Scudetto, and who is, if Inter Milan are going to pull away and do the job, or if Mandzukic is going to go in and upset Zlatan and score the goals to fly Milan to the first Scudetto for quite a while, to be fair, from recollection. Quite a while. Sean, it's been a pleasure, my friend. We will catch up with you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to see you guys again in a month's time.
I can't hear you, Neil.
We're back. I keep forgetting there's a mute button on the damn microphone. I went all cammy.
I don't know, Jeff.
I don't know. I got a microphone. I don't know what's happened. Yes, much appreciation going to Sean there, stepping in and being our Italian correspondent. We know the guy has got a lot of love for the Italian game, so it's good to see Sean back on the screen. I think
not a lot of love for Zlatan, though.
Not a lot of love for Zlatan. So let's get that out of the way first, Coop. We put the poll up, the prediction. A fight, Zlatan or Romelu?
Zlatan all day.
I pretty much said as much on the interview. But yeah, I'm completely agreeing. I think Romelu Lukaku's got all that power, but he won't know how to use it. Zlatan,
and the thing is, I think if you put Lukaku up against any other person, he'd probably win.
Yeah,
he'd probably absolutely ruin him. But the only one he probably wouldn't is Zlatan.
Yep, he's a
smacking with his nose.
He's a beast. He's a beast. Right, so Zlatan is the winner. Not sure who whacked all the money in. I think it was Kelly. Complete prediction.
Maybe
Kelly Kai, prediction results, Zlatan. Kelly Kai, smashing it out of the park. Kelly knows. Like Zlatan knows.
Maybe I should drop some hints on my knobhead of the week and the chat and try and guess who it might be.
Oh, we haven't covered what it's called yet, Coop. You've just spoiled that, haven't you? Our new feature.
I don't know, Jeff.
You just can't get the people, man. You can't get the presenters, man. Right?
You just can't, can you? Can't get them.
Hello, Krillixy. How are you? I hope you are well. Welcome in to Down the Local. Transfer deadline day special. We're suited and booted. This is not a normal occurrence. Although Coop does love a little shirt and tie combo. But
I do love a shirt and tie combo.
Does love a shirt and tie combo. Me? Not so much. Not my bag, man. But you know,
It's because you're basically wifed off, though, aren't you?
yeah. But I pull it off well, mate. I still got it.
Yeah,
I
you don't need to make the effort, though, do you?
Exactly. Well, no, I don't need to make the effort because I look good without it, mate.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a natural. I mean, I look well pasty with big baggy eyes here, but normally, I did get the offer earlier. Doreen did offer to give me some Showtime makeup. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, shit my pants a little bit and said no.
I had my makeup done.
Yeah, but I didn't know what she'd do. I visualised.
I've been in makeup for about 3 hours today, while my chicken was cooking.
Mate, that chicken is going to be dry if you cooked it for 3 hours. All the moisture's gone. Just
get that fat out. Just need to get that fat out.
Chicken hasn't got any fat. It's not even got any chicken anymore. Well done, Kelly. You won. Indeed, you did. Zlatan would clearly beat Romelu Lukaku like a Spanish donkey.
He beat him out of Italy.
Yep. He would beat him out of Italy. If what Sean was saying as well was a true reflection from previous, that Zlatan said he would give Romelu Lukaku 100 quid every time he made a first good touch.
First touch, yeah.
I mean, if that's true, Zlatan walks away from that deal, quids in.
I have heard that. I think it's probably got some weight behind it.
Yeah. And we're not talking Romelu weight.
No.
So, guys, there has been a deal done today, right? It is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. In fact, it's a really small deal, but it came with the best headline. And this is when you know the people behind the scenes are really struggling, and they're bringing in the content creators. So the deal was some dude going from somewhere to somewhere. Hold on a second. Let me just double check who it was. It was Joe Bunny got released from his contract at Hartlepool earlier this month, and today signed for Grimsby.
Can I try and guess the headline?
Go for it.
Is it Bunny hops to Grimsby?
It's not far off. It's Bunny bounces into the Blundell.
Lovely,
yes.
Lovely.
Blundell Park, Grimsby Ground. Joe Bunny bounds in like Roger Rabbit.
Like a wet fart.
It's a bounce in, a bounces out.
Bouncers, mate.
I mean,
depends on what trousers you're wearing.
It vibrates like a rabbit. Moving on. So, any deals that have been concluded while we've been checking up on Italy? Now, just to keep you posted, guys. Obviously, we were talking in there about Parma making signings. Obviously, Sean was talking about Dennis Mann signing for Parma, but they also signed today Joshua Zirkzee, which I thought was a really interesting one. So anyone who plays Football Manager will know that Zirkzee is one of these youngsters at Bayern Munich who really, really always pushes on and progresses and becomes a bit of a star on the game in most situations. He's gone to a team who are second bottom in Italy on a loan deal till the end of the season with a £15 million £15 million transfer fee at the end, which is peanuts, really, for a guy who is touted as being that good. It's minimal money. But that said, there's no stipulation on whether that is if he keeps Parma up. Now, bearing in mind the financial issues Parma have had over the years, they got relegated down to the 4th division and things like that. They were sponsored by the Parmalat company, who basically funded the whole of the place of Parma. Parma came out of that. When that company went bust and got sold off, and that Parma basically had no money, they went downhill rapidly. If they get relegated and that £15 million fee is stipulated that it has to happen, they could be pretty screwed again. Unless the idea is they pay that 15 million quid, he goes in and they sell him at profit.
Mm.
But if he doesn't score the goals and they get relegated, people aren't going to be wanting to pay. They'll know they ain't going to want to buy him for a lump sum of money because they know he's not done the deed. It's definitely a strange one from Palmer on that. But also seeing Udinese signing Jaden Braff going to Udinese from Man City. So Udinese have broken only on loan, but Dutch winger, youngster, 19, I think he is. Very good player. But that's another interesting one because Udinese have gone and signed someone outside of Watford. They've broken away from what they know. It's crazy times.
Just on a deal that broke down in Serie A that I heard about earlier, a swap deal. Alexis Sanchez and a swap deal for Edin Dzeko. Now that is a guy who has fallen from grace rapidly in Sanchez. And I also heard that Edin Dzeko has been offered around Premier League clubs. No
one's wanted to take him.
No.
His wages,
he was even offered Man City again.
He was. His wages have put people off. And he's also 33, 34.
I was going to say, that guy seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah. I mean, he was. He seems like he's been around forever. And actually, he didn't even become a name until he was maybe 24.
Yeah.
So, so it's an interesting one. Definitely an interesting one there. I did see that yesterday. I saw that Roma were interested in getting Sanchez, but they wouldn't pay the wages he wanted. Inter were interested in signing Dzeko, but they needed to offload before they could bring in. So, am I surprised it didn't happen? Probably not. Alexis Sanchez is wanting far too much money for what his output over the last few years.
For nothing.
Yeah. His output over the last few years. He's turned it on a couple of times for Inter this season, but...
Yeah, but sporadically.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even use that word.
No. Much the same as Christian Eriksen. There's no surprise that Eriksen and Sanchez are looking at offloading both of them. So obviously the Ben Davies deal from Preston to Liverpool has been confirmed and all gone through. Going the other way is Sepp van der Berg, again Dutch young defender who's gone to Preston to I'm guessing to sweeten the deal, so that because Preston knew they weren't going to be able to bring in a replacement. So he's gone there on loan till the end of the season. Watford have signed some legends. Watford have brought in Bergkamp and Pochettino. Mitchell Bergkamp, son of Dennis, has signed for Watford.
Yeah.
And Maurizio, as opposed to Maurizio, because when you really can't think of a kid's name, change one letter of your own name and give it to him. I'd be calling my kid Nine.
Nell?
Yeah. If it's a girl, we could go with Nell. Yeah, that's all right. I'll work with that.
Better than 9. Whatever you said.
Yeah, I went with 9. 9. It'd be good though when the kid's naughty to tell him off because it's an angry word, isn't it? 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maurizio Pochettino, son of now PSG boss Maurizio, has gone there from Tottenham. So signed a 4-year deal as well. He's gone on a permanent. So interesting to see because from what I've heard of him, Tottenham were saying he was great, and a lot of Tottenham fans were saying he's pretty crap. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Confirmed is Regan Riley leaving Bolton and going to Norwich.
Yeah.
I've just seen a picture of him flash up on the screen. Looks like he could do with a good meal.
He should come round mine for some chicken.
He needs to come round for some dry ass chicken. No fat in that.
Just on another transfer that's going through that I saw, which is quite funny. The ball boy from a couple of years ago in the Crystal Palace West Ham match.
Yes,
remember
they
that?
refused to give him the ball.
Yeah, the one where he rushed it back.
Oh,
put it on the spot for a goal kick.
Yeah,
he's playing at Rochdale. He's just got a move to Manchester City. Yeah, Quando Bar, I think his name is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
I
work,
think he's
son.
going to go back to Rochdale on loan for the rest of the season, though.
Fair enough.
So,
So Maitland-Niles apparently going to West Brom is still it's not a done deal, but it's not an off deal.
no, but one you did mention as a done deal, isn't it?
Joe Willock
Yeah.
has signed for Newcastle on loan for the rest of the season. An absolutely banging deal that is for Newcastle and for Joe Willock, I think.
Yeah.
Willock needs games. I think he's a very tidy player.
That was waiting to happen once they got Yedlin off to Galatasaray as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, DeAndre Yedlin has gone to Galatasaray from Newcastle. Didn't really tick the boxes, did he, though? I mean, didn't he sign for... He was at Tottenham to start with, wasn't he, Yedlin? And then went to Newcastle. But never really done the job. Never really done the job over...
Anyone in Tottenham, though.
He was, well, that's true. He was just very quick. That's all I ever remember. Apparently, Southampton have had a bid rejected for Nico Williams.
Nico Williams. Yeah.
Liverpool have said no. They want him to stay as backup to Trent. To be fair, if he'd gone to Southampton, I'm not sure that Southampton haven't got a right back at the moment, have they?
James Walker-Peters is injured, isn't he?
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse played there the other day.
Did he?
Yeah. Against Villa. So that probably helped.
I did see the game. I didn't pay attention to where he lined up, though.
No, it wouldn't have mattered, would it? Grealish would have been turning him inside out for most of the game, so you wouldn't have noticed.
But on the Joe Willock one to Newcastle, I mean, we were talking about Maitland-Niles wanting to get in the England squad.
Yes.
I think Joe Willock's got more chance of getting in the England squad at centre midfield if he's playing at Newcastle than Maitland-Niles playing anywhere.
Yeah, I'll be honest. He's got more chance than Maitland-Niles, but I mean, he hasn't got any chance at all. Maitland-Niles is making a rod for his own back because he gets into that England squad as an option at right and left wing back. He's never going to get in there as a centre midfielder. He's not good enough.
No.
He gets in there as a right or left wing back, which is where he was playing for Arsenal. Now, if he's throwing his toys out the pram and saying, I don't want to play there, I want to play centre midfield, well then...
Well, the thing is, he's not playing there anyway.
Well, no, he's not now, is he? But it makes you wonder whether he's not playing there now because he said, I don't want to play there. And Arteta said, "Well, mate, you ain't getting in anywhere else." To me,
there's speculation at the beginning of the season that Wolves wanted him, weren't there, as well?
Yeah. To me, though, it does reek a little bit of when Oxlade-Chamberlain initially said, "I want to play centre midfield," and Liverpool said, "Come and play for us." So he went to Liverpool, and Liverpool played him as a winger to start with, and he was like, "I'm really happy to be here." How? How could you be? You just said you don't want to play there. In that position for them and you left and now you're playing there for them. What makes you really happy? You still got the same situation. And at that point in time, you had the same situation for a team that was less likely to win the league. I mean, grand scheme of things, didn't turn out like that, did it? But, so, what else have we got going on? Any other deals that I've seen? Johnny Williams going to Cardiff. No other big deals at the moment. We're still waiting for that one to go, aren't we?
The Tom Ince one.
Yes.
To Luton, interesting one.
Tom Ince, yeah. There's a guy who just has
He was meant to be the next big thing at one point, wasn't he?
Even his old man doesn't talk about him on TV anymore.
Just to update everyone as well, in the Championship, Watford are 1-0 up against Queen's Park Rangers.
Damn it, Watford.
It was a Troy Deeney penalty.
Oh, God, Troy Deeney. I did suggest on the original recording yesterday, that actually wasn't a recording, which is why we had to do a second recording, that I wouldn't be surprised to see Troy Deeney rock up at Udinese. So, if they need a striker, just pop back to Watford again. Troy's floating around, isn't he? So, you were talking earlier about Fulham potentially signing a striker.
Yes.
Still waiting for that Kabak one to be announced. Yes, Kelly, we are waiting. We are watching. We are watching what's going on there. I've got my man outside of Carrington. Peter Odemwingi's in the car park. No Kabak yet. No Kabak.
I think the Kabak one is waiting for Mustafi.
Is it? So they're not going to let Kabak go unless they sign
Mustafi. So
Mustafi.
Mustafi needs to go, and then Kabak, which I've heard Mustafi's actually been released.
I heard that, but it's not been announced. I tell you what, I tell you what, Arsenal are arguably one of the worst run clubs when you think over the last 5 years that they have released players for nothing that they have spent over £200 million on. That
Yeah.
I mean, that is a ridiculous state of affairs.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal fans say we
Why
never
is it
spend any
taking
money.
so long to get sorted out as well?
Say again.
Why has it taken them so long to sort it out?
But
Because
yeah,
it's been like years, hasn't it?
yeah. But
Like, you think Mustafi, Socrates, they've been there. Like Mustafi's been there for about 6-7 years. He must have been.
he's been there a while. Yeah, he's definitely been
Yeah.
there a while. I mean, when you're looking at David Luiz and you'd rather keep him than Socrates and Mustafi, it shows how crap Socrates
David Luiz class last night.
was. He?
Yes.
But 1 in 5.
Yeah. But I'll tell you who I think is having a fantastic season. Rob Holding. Rob Holding.
Yeah. Rob Holding's a half decent defender. He's
He
never
just
gonna-
needed to get fit.
Yeah, exactly, and keep him fit. But he's still young, and he's still only 26?
He's 25. He's only just turned 25.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah.
you live in hope that he's kind of going to be fit and able for a period of time. He could definitely push towards the England squad. I think.
Oh, I think if he can keep himself fit till the end of the season, I think he should be in that England squad.
Instead of who though?
How many we having?
Well, centre backs
Yeah.
normally go with 4.
Yeah, because he can also push play right back as well.
I would probably say though, Southgate is desperate to play 3 at the back, isn't he? So he'd probably go with 5 centre backs.
Yeah. So
Stones is fit and playing again.
yeah,
So it'll be Stones, Maguire,
Michael Keane.
Mings.
Does Eric Dyer go as a midfielder or a defender?
He would take Dyer as a defender, I think, because then he can move him. But equally, I wouldn't take Mings.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd
I wanted you to say it because I didn't want to come across as. But I don't think he's been as great as he was when he first got called up to the England squad.
No, I would take Ezra Konsa instead. Konsa is Mings.
Instead of Holding.
What?
Instead of Robert Holding.
Yeah. Konsa. Basically, Joe Gomez. Yes, of course, Teapot. How are you, my friend? I hope you're well. Yes, Joe Gomez. Obviously, if he's fit, will go. That's a big if at the moment, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Ezra Konsa, this season, Mings has still got away with a lot of stuff because Konsa has done the job for him and covered and mopped up behind him. The amount of times Mings gets the ball and he tries to drive forward, he'd done it against Burnley so many times and lost the ball in stupid areas.
See, I was going to suggest something like this, like before the next England game, because I was going to ask who would you look at to take instead of probably Harry Kane at the moment, because I think is it friendlies or qualifiers coming up or something in March.
Danny Ings.
Yeah, I think Danny Ings is a shoo-in.
Yep.
But how many strikers?
Ings. Wilson.
I'd go Bamford.
Yeah, I got too much hatred for Patrick Bamford.
Because he started really well and then he dropped off. But against Leicester the other night,
he was quality, yeah.
And I just think it's hearing the news that Harry Kane is injured just might sort of
Boost him up a little bit. Teapot plays Walker at centre back too. He does, but that failed miserably in the World Cup. I mean, Walker's not playing there regularly enough for his club, and it is a big jump to go from fullback to centre back. And it was seen as well because Walker was caught out either too wide or coming in too narrow, and losing men left, right, and centre. I agree that Walker should be in the squad, but yeah. We said Maguire. We did say Maguire as well. Tammy should be in there. Again, he's not playing for Chelsea.
Hudson-Odoi at the moment is going to get a run of games by the look of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah, Kane, Ings, Kane, Sterling, Rashford, yeah. So I mean, you got Rashford, you got Greenwood as well. I think
Greenwood's not having a great season.
he's not, but I think the problem is it is genuinely looking at. I mean, you could throw a shoe in for Ollie Watkins. Plays well, doesn't score enough goals. I think he's got 8 this season, but he scores them in patches. But he does not give the opposition a break. And you've got to think Villa are a team where they are going to be under pressure quite a lot, and they're counter-attacking teams. It'd be interesting.
If he was still playing, you'd have Jamie Vardy in there as well, wouldn't you?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd rather take Saka over Greenwood. Oh yeah, I'd have Saka in there. We've kind of gone off piste here.
Yeah.
Transfer deadline day. What the fuck? So, what other deals we haven't? We've got a couple of others that have been going on. So what we will do is we've got a new feature, guys. We've got a new feature. We are putting Coop in the spotlight with the new.
What's that
feature.
new feature?
It's a new feature. Do you know what? When you've got your TV on behind you, you go very dark in silhouette.
That's racist.
Turn your light on.
It is on.
Oh.
It's just like if I move, then the light shines on me.
Oh, shine a light. Right, guys, new feature. We ready for this? This is going to be amazing. Saka can play left back both weeks. I would take Saka as the wing back, 100%. Every time, Saka would be in that team, or at least in that squad. Oh, it's time for the knobhead! Knobhead of the week. Knobhead of the week with Coop. Love it.
Right. So, shall I give the people in the chat a chance to guess first?
Yeah, why not?
Right. So, is someone who is at Tottenham?
I mean, what you need to do now,
Yuck.
Coop, what you need to do now is maybe come a little bit in because you're completely off the screen. There we go.
Someone who's at Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say at the moment.
Oh.
Because if I give too much away, it'll be a guess.
Well, just tell us who it is.
Okay. It's not going to be a popular decision. It's Heung-min Son.
Heung-min Son is your knobhead of the week.
Yeah. Not for this week. Not just for what he's done this week, but
Coop, if you just on the chat, Teapot just said be careful because you've got the live football on behind you.
Yeah.
Because it's visible, Twitch can get very funny and they try and ban people for showing live sport.
Okay.
So flick it back.
It's going to be gone in a minute anyway.
Flick it back to whatever. Get rid. Cheers, Teapot. I didn't think it was visible enough, but we won't run the risk. Coop will flick the channel.
It's going to be gone in a minute anyway.
There we go. So, Son is your knobhead of the week. Why is he your knobhead of the week?
Well, the reason I had the football on is because I've actually got a clip as to why I think he's a knobhead.
Right, okay.
Right, because you just look at him, right, and he's got this butter wouldn't melt sort of face, wouldn't do anything wrong. But I think he's secretly, he's a bellend. He's a nasty bit of work who just gets away with stuff that he shouldn't.
Right. So what's he got away with?
Well, he's just dirty. I just think he's dirty. He's a dirty player.
He's a dirty player?
Yeah. So, right. Hang on. I'll switch the channel quickly. Just right. So I will show you why.
Cool.
Right.
Visuals here, guys, so you can see what.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Bit of YouTube.
It's coming.
Let's just pull that across because we can't see the whole screen, but there we go. Son, yeah, kicked out there. Saw that.
Yeah.
And again, and again.
And then he gets a red card for this.
What Son does?
Yeah.
Does he kick out?
No, it's the push.
Oh, right.
It's the push, 2 hands, and he's pushed him. It might be the kick as well.
Is that last season? Yeah, it is. It's against Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's against Bournemouth, yeah. He pushed Jefferson Lerma as well. If anyone cared.
There we go then.
This is Andre Gomez.
Oh, the one against Gomez, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
But he genuinely was a bit gutted on that one.
Oh, yeah. Genuinely, because he's got that little face and he has a little cry.
Yeah, he went and had a look at him, didn't he? And then put head in hands.
He's only crying because he got a red card, mate. That's what he's crying for. And I don't care if people don't agree with me. I think he's a knobhead. I think he's vicious and I think he's nasty. And really, for that, I should like him. But because he plays Tottenham, I don't.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And there is one more, which is the one that really brought it to my attention when I first saw it. It's coming up. He's just got to get his little red card first and finish his little cry. We go. It's against Chelsea. Oh, that kick on Rudiger. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, studs up, kicks out at him after. Oh,
yeah.
Dirty little bugger. Well, there we go, guys. New feature. Coop, move to your right a little bit. You're in. You're back in.
I'm in.
Guys, there we go. No bed of the week. Son is this week's knobhead. I'm going to be intrigued, to be fair. I'm intrigued now to see how many times Tottenham feature in this. In this weekly segment of Knobhead of the Week.
Well, they've got a few, haven't they?
Well, apparently, yeah, Kane is dirty this season as well. He backs into players in the air. He looks dangerous. Yeah.
That's not just this season, though.
No, he's been doing that for a while.
Noticed he does it this season.
Yeah. It's been picked up a little bit more, isn't it? VAR.
And that's why he got injured, isn't it?
Yeah, backing in, and he buggered himself, didn't he?
He tried to do it to Jordan Henderson, and Henderson just went, nope.
Kicked him.
Just went, nope.
Henderson looked at it and said, well, Harry, normally we go to tournaments and you've had a rest part way through the season and you've not really had one this year. So how about now?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Because Jordan's one.
So, have we got any deals that have gone through? Have we got anything that's gone through in the last... Oh, yes. Hello.
Yeah.
There's one. Josh King. I mean, having watched him play against Reading the other day, God knows why anyone in the Prem would want to sign him. Guy's dross.
Yeah, I think he's been injured, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, but he was awful the other day. Absolutely awful. But apparently, breaking news, Bournemouth have verbally agreed a deal with Everton and Fulham for Josh King. Now, that is going to have to be one hell of a quick turnaround. I have not rated Josh...
They've got till 1 a.m. as long as they get the deal sheets in before 11.
Yeah, and then they agree the other stuff. But once those deal sheets in, the transfer has to be completed. I thought.
I think it's just up to him where he wants to go, isn't it?
I mean, if it was him, you'd go to Everton, wouldn't you? Because Fulham will probably go down. But by the same token, he's going to be playing games for Fulham. He won't be playing for Everton.
He might play for Everton.
Instead of who? I don't rate Josh King. I'd rather have Alex
No, I
Iwobi.
don't particularly rate him, but people obviously do.
He's quick.
Some people do.
He's quick, but the guy's 29 as well. I mean, and there's another one. Southampton trying to get Minamino in from Liverpool on loan. Southampton.
He needs a move, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not worked out for him. He can't get a game.
And whenever he does, he looks so out of sorts anyway.
You look like even Origi and Shaqiri are getting games at the moment, and he's just nowhere near that team, is he?
Yeah. No, that's true. That is true. Coop,
Yeah.
you need to not be sat central of your camera.
Why's that?
Because the camera screen doesn't cover the whole of the picture on here. So you need to move more to the centre. There you go, that way. Yeah, perfect. That's bang on. Yeah, that's perfect now. Beautiful. We can see all of you. A minute ago, it was like you were silhouette earlier.
Yeah.
And then you became one of those half-face silhouettes.
Yeah, if you can't see me, it's a waste of 3 hours makeup, isn't it?
It is. All that chicken that you must have rubbed on your face to reinvigorate the moisture. Yes, so Minamino. So, yeah, we were talking earlier about Liverpool had already knocked back Southampton for a deal for Nico Williams. And obviously now they're looking at Minamino. So maybe Southampton are just trying to get a little bit of retribution for all the years that Liverpool stole their players. Loan deal coming in for Van Dijk till the end of the season. Liverpool be going, he's out till the end of the season. Yeah, but we want him back. We want him back.
Want him around the place.
Exactly. Just let us.
Physio's missing.
Yeah, just let us sniff him for a little bit. Remind us of how it could have been. We could have won the Prem.
On that.
Yes.
On that, obviously Southampton.
Yep.
They went to the league earlier in the season, didn't they?
Yep. And now everyone's slating Hutton.
Yeah. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk, he went into Liverpool.
Yeah.
He was the last piece in that puzzle, apparently, wasn't he? They won the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he'd have stayed at Southampton when they went top, if he'd have been at Southampton when they went top of the league, in with a shout.
What, this season?
Yeah. No.
He's not the missing piece of Southampton, is he? Southampton's team is good. It's not fantastic. Let's be fair.
Liverpool are near the top of the league still anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, without him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because Liverpool have got a very good rest of the team. Southampton lose Danny Ings and you're looking at where a goal's going to come from.
Ward-Prowse.
That's it. You're living on hope that you win a load of free kicks around the box. And
I'll just put it out there.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Straightforward as that. Shall we?
Why not?
Because Southampton don't have the rest of the squad to do it, whereas Liverpool do. You look at Liverpool. They've lost Gomez. They've lost Van Dijk. They've lost. They've had Fabinho. They've lost arguably one of their best midfielders playing at centre back. Salah hasn't been on the form he has been over this season. Firmino hasn't been scoring the goals, and they're still sat third. It's I think there's a lot being drawn out of some of the games they've lost.
Salah looks like he's coming back to his best in recent games, doesn't he?
He looked good the other day. He did look good against Spurs, but you want to hope.
And Man United.
Yeah, he played well then as well. I think you're kind of Ward-Prowse carries that team. You're right, Teapot. He does. Ward-Prowse and I'll be honest. When I saw him playing right back against Villa the other day, I was shocked. I don't understand where this thing is of he can play anywhere. We'll put him at right back. He's by far and away their best centre midfielder.
Exactly, yeah.
Surely you would have played Romeu or someone like that at right back. Someone who's more defensive minded.
He's only just come back from injury as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's also not very good. You would have put him at right back, ease him into it. Let's be fair, you put Ward-Prowse there, you want Ward-Prowse to be able to dictate play. I've done it in the past with Sunday football. Sometimes you put your better players at fullback So your goalkeeper can spread the play and they can play the ball from there. They see more of the pitch and you can play football from there. But how often was Ward-Prowse going to get that opportunity with playing up against Grealish? It just wouldn't happen. And it just seemed like a ridiculous... It looked... I don't even know what it looked like, but there's a lot of people saying that Hasenhutl's been... he's like a false prophecy. Everyone was saying he's the man, he's going to be great, he's going to do this. Load of Southampton fans are saying actually he's got no plan B. Well, he hasn't got he hasn't got a B team. That's the issue. He has no backups. So
got a goal at QPR.
Oh, is it QPR equalising?
It is, yes. Charlie Austin.
Yeah, go on, Shazza. What a ledge. Still got it. Can't run. Still puts the ball in the net though. What a hero. What a hero. Oh, deal being done. Callum Hendry. No idea who he is. But it's a deal done. And we're not getting many of them. Middlesbrough defender...
It's very quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's painfully quiet. In fact, painfully quiet. But Middlesbrough defender Nathan Wood has joined Crewe on loan. Nathan Wood is someone who, especially on Football Manager, is someone that's really touted highly. So that's an interesting one. Anyone else? Oh no, Callum Hendry is a striker from St Johnstone, and he's gone to Aberdeen.
Okay.
There we go, just to fill that in. Forest have sold Miguel Angel Guerrero to Real Vallecano.
Okay.
Well, we're keeping up with all of this stuff. Oh, David Nugent has left Preston and gone to Tranmere.
A little bit of exodus going on at Preston at the moment, isn't there?
David Nugent, I'm guessing, isn't really playing for Preston anymore. I can't imagine.
Last season.
Yeah, he was last year, but I'm guessing he's not playing because Tranmere is what, League 2? They're back in the league.
I think they might be. Yeah, I think they might be League 2.
So that's a weird one. Obviously, Luton signing Tom Ince. I thought it was quite interesting the other day as well. So Reading released Jordan Abita at the end of last season. Basically, he came back he was out injured for 2 years, and it was kind of decided that he couldn't play 2 games in a week. So at the time, there was a lot of switching between him and Omar Richards.
Yeah.
Abita then left Reading at the end of the season, contract didn't get renewed, and he went back to Oxford, which is where Reading picked him up as like a 15, 16-year-old. Went to Oxford. Done really well. Was loving it.
Yeah.
And has come back into the Championship and signed for Wickham. Only spent 3 months at Oxford and Wickham signed him. So back in the Championship for Jordan Abita straight away. Which I thought was an interesting one because Reading didn't think he was able to cope anymore. So
apparently Oxford got some very, very good centre-backs at the moment.
Who? Oxford?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got most of them from Reading. They got Rob Dickey still.
Yeah. Someone else as well.
He's probably from Reading as well. Reading just have clubs that they offload all their youngsters to, and then they go and do well. Normally, it's goalkeepers we do that with.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference in the league between Reading and Oxford at the moment, isn't there?
Well, Oxford are League 1.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, League 1. They're doing all right. I mean, let's be fair. They were probably only about 10 places behind Reading for the last couple of seasons. This year, things have clicked a bit better. Lucas João, get that boy in the Portugal squad. I mean, if Adair could play for Portugal when he was awful for Swansea and score the European Championship winner for Portugal, Lucas João could do the job. Get the boy in there. His goal the other day, he scored some absolute bangers this season. His goal the other day was an absolute peach. Absolute peach.
I did watch him the other night, actually.
Against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think he scored, didn't he?
He scored the 3rd goal where the ball got played into the channel. He ran it, shaped to shoot, and then just little drag round the defender, rolled the guy, rolled it in the bottom corner. Reading look good going forward. Looking good going forward. Not so great at the back, but that's fine. It's fine. We've got people coming back. Yaku Mite's fit again. He came on. Andy Iadon came on. Liam Moore's due to be fit again. So, things are working out. Things are looking tasty. So, let's get a little bit of an update from what's been going on in Portugal. Not much, to all intents and purposes. So it's a little bit of a shorter one than the interview with Sean earlier. But we will introduce you to a fan favourite of the females. Although lockdown has not been kind to him, bless him. But we will get in the lad, the proper correspondent from Portugal, because he's Portuguese. It makes a big difference when you can get him in. When you can pull in the ringers. Sean's a ringer. He's English. But he's doing the Italian correspondent because he's got the love and the interest and all that. This guy's actually Portuguese. Pull him in from everywhere, man. So, guys, welcome to Fabio. Fabio is going to be our Portuguese correspondent for the remainder of this season. So, Fab, welcome in, my friend. Give us a little bit of information about you.
Hi, yeah. Well, not much about me, to be fair. I'm from Portugal. As Badge said, I have lived here since I was 9. But obviously watch more Portuguese football than I do English football. That kind of have to. Benfica fan after all, and it's a more simple game down there. Less money, more fun. That's the way I see it. Not so much this season. This season's been a bit odd, but it's nice to have teams who just have to find youth players or have to find different ways around instead of just spending loads of money to create things. So yeah, that's me. That's the football I enjoy. That's why I like watching the Championship as well. It's just more entertaining, and yeah.
Cool. So as Fab said there, Benfica fan, we will try and rein him in if he goes off on a tangent about Benfica or Bernardo Silva or whoever.
It's got to be Ruben Diaz at the moment, surely.
Oh well,
God of a centre back right now.
I wouldn't like to make you pick. So
half of their squad is basically former Benfica players now. It's quite interesting to see.
It is, and they done the
shame we didn't invest in them.
Well, obviously, when Arsenal signed Benfica players, they didn't go out so well. I mean, they got David Luiz and people like that, and they so yeah. Anyway, so moving on. A little bit of an update, my friend, on the current state of play in Portugal. Everyone will be fully aware of the big three: Sporting, Benfica, and Porto. Yeah. But as we see over numerous years, there's always a couple of teams who suddenly crop up from nowhere. They vanish a few years later, but they crop up. So what's the current state of play?
Current state, I think the biggest surprise at the moment is Sporting, the way they're playing, the fact that they're top. Porto doing what they always do, just a very physical team, and they will bully players, like teams out. Braga has invested heavily. Great manager in Carlos Carvalhal, who spent some time here in England. Mm-hmm. Their football's very interesting, mostly down to the quality of their striker, who's really helped them, Paulinho. Benfica really underperforming. I don't think a lot of people were expecting it, considering they spent 100 million. Boa Vista, another team a lot of people won't have heard of, but they're one of the only 5 teams to have ever won the first division, and they spent a lot of money that people didn't know they had, and bringing players in like Xavi Garcia, for example, Angel Gomez on loan, former United.
Yeah.
And they brought in a centre-back who was starting 11 for France before, but I can't remember his name to save my life. And
Adil Rami?
Rami, that's it. Yeah. Rami. And yeah, he's their relegation battle. Famalicão as well. They spent so much money last season. Again on foreign players, and they're really not performing the way people expected them to. Obviously, they sold their best player to Sporting, who's the top goal scorer in the league at the moment. His name's Pote. He's Portuguese, very good. But yeah, so it seems to be that the teams, I'm not sure if this is down to the lack of fans. I'm not sure what it's down to, but it feels like the teams who have invested in local players, teams who have invested in players that are already in a league, such as Sporting, Porto, and Braga, have managed to build better squads. They've gelled better with the rest of their teammates. Sporting has mostly only bought players from the Portuguese division, players like Nuno Santos, Pote, who was playing at Famalicão. They're now thinking about bringing in Paulinho from Braga as well.
Okay.
And they're running away with the league. I'm dreading tomorrow Benfica against Sporting. I'm not going to lie. Porto has done the same, and again, they're second place. And then you look at the other end of the spectrum. Benfica spent 100 million on players from abroad, players like Everton, who was linked with, funnily enough, with Everton, starting 11 for Brazil. I mean, we bought players in like Julian Weigl from Dortmund, and again, that's 20 million. Darwin Nunez from Almeria, 20 million. So much money spent, and just it feels almost not just us, but Boa Vista's done the same. They spent loads of money from abroad. Famalicão, they've just loaned in loads of players from teams like Chelsea and things. And it just feels like those players don't know what those shirts mean because they've never seen the fans at that stadium. Whereas the ones who are local, teams like Sporting, investing in lower division sides and getting those players in, they know what that shirt is worth because they've played in that stadium before. They know what their fans are like. And so it's a really strange one. First of all, because Sporting never usually is in first place for this long.
No.
There's the ongoing joke in Portugal that they're the winter champions and no more, because they usually get to end of January and they're already in 4th, 5th place, and Braga's usually doing much better than they are, but not the case this year. Really not the case this year.
Okay.
So it'll be fun to see. But yeah, the lack of finances as well. So there's this really weird position right now in the between last place and 10th place in the league at the moment. There's only 4 points, which is just
that's crazy.
Mad.
4
that is
points
just
between bottom and 10th.
Yeah, right now, which is just, it's ridiculous to think, isn't it? Just that's a loss and a draw, and you're in relegation, and you're in the bottom of the league. You know, it's very, very strange, and it's not normal. If it's down to finances and clubs not being able to invest properly, who knows? But it feels like this year, because of the lack of fans and income, a lot of teams have decided to invest mostly on loans. And again, those players just don't gel quickly enough with the rest of the squad. I think Santa Clara used to have a massive agreement with Benfica before, and they used to loan in a lot of our players. This year, they've had to loan from here, there, and everywhere. Belenenses has an agreement with Nice in France and Lille, and they've loaned in so many players too. And Famalicão are another example of that. And it feels like, because the money's not as big, obviously not a rich league by any means, but usually they do get a little bit of money of selling to the bigger clubs. But this year, even that hasn't helped them.
Yeah.
The only one that's reasonably surviving is Braga, because considering they sold half their squad to Spain, and their manager too, Sporting, paid his release clause of like 10 million. However, there's still very, very big doubts about whether Sporting has managed to pay all that fee to Braga yet. There's
question marks around there.
Very big question marks. Question marks. But yeah, it's forcing teams overall to just loan, and I'm not sure if that has had that outcome of why they're all doing not poorly, because they're definitely giving the top three a bigger fight. But I don't know, it's just not very exciting to watch those lower league games at the moment. It kind of feels like a Sunday league team where they're all thrown together and they kind of just hope for the best. They don't know each other. Belenenses tends to play some nice football. They've been playing together for a few years. The addition of their loanees hasn't been too bad. And they've got some legends at the club, like Varela, who used to be a Porto legend. Yeah. And I mean, his nephew plays for him as well as a left back, also named Varela. Very good.
That's the Varela who was at Manchester United for a little while, yes?
No, don't think so. Who did he play for? Give me 2 seconds.
But yes, I mean, it's interesting to hear as well, because obviously currently on my own channel doing the Hill Vicente save, and you see where the money's at and the clubs, and it's such a tiered system. The cash is there at Porto. Benfica are kind of there with Sporting on the next bracket, and then it's the teams under that seem to all be in relation to who they sell and how much they get.
See, that's something that a lot of people from abroad seem to think, but this year it's not been well, for a few years it's not been that at all. Porto has always been seen as the richest club in Portugal, but truth is that they've almost got into administration this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Benfica obviously has got a lot of money from selling players like Ruben Diaz and João Felix, hence why they've spent so much money this season. But Porto, financially, not very good. Sporting too, that's why they haven't paid their fee to Braga for Ruben Amorim, their manager, yet. Benfica floating. Benfica came into a strong position because of COVID. Like we were in a good financial position to help us spend that money. We were okay to, but Porto's luck was that Benfica threw away the league last year and they qualified for Champions League. That Champions League money saved Porto from potentially going into administration.
Right. Okay.
Which is crazy to think.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. So from currently at the moment then, so obviously we kind of touched on there about the teams that are overperforming, underperforming. Obviously anyone from 10th down, if they're a big name, are definitely underperforming because they could have serious problems. But obviously overperforming, you were saying Sporting at the moment, massive overperformance. Basing it on obviously reputation, but also money spent and things like that as well. So transfer window in Portugal at the moment. Any deals that have been going on in January? I mean, the one, just to go back and jump back as well, the one that still surprises me was it almost looked, and I remember saying to you at the time, the Edison Cavani to Benfica almost looked, and to all intents and purposes, seemed like a done deal. And then he went to Man United, and everyone was saying that was a panic buy. Yeah. But it wasn't you can't panic buy a proven international goal scorer. And the reason he didn't sign for Benfica was because essentially it was going to be, I think he would have ended up at Benfica had these other teams not come in last minute. Yeah. Because that was the offer on the table. Potentially.
I think he was definitely buying his time till something else came along. And that was made very clear the second that Man United's name was mentioned. I mean, he turned down Leeds originally at the start of the transfer season. Benfica, he was linked with Benfica forever. His brother had several chats with his brother, who I think is also his agent, has several chats with our president and talks about him finally coming to us. And I feel like the second the United name was mentioned, he decided to go there, which fair enough.
I'm still not convinced that was the case, because apparently the talks with him at Man United were going on for 2 weeks. So I still think he was waiting for potentially a better offer than Man United. But at the end of the day, you know, he waited until deadline day and he took the one that was best on the table at the time and went with it. So in terms of sort of January transfer window, what's been occurring? Has COVID had a massive impact on the transfers, or is there still sort of dealings going on in and around?
There's still some dealings, not as much as usual. I think out of the big three especially, there's been potentially 2 signings so far, potentially another one, depending on Braga and Sporting coming to an agreement with Paulinho.
Yes.
Benfica, Porto and Sporting only usually really purchase in January if they lose a big player.
Right.
And that tends to be what we do. Exactly, as a quick replacement. So we haven't seen that. What we have seen is Sporting just trying their best to sign Braga's striker, who for me is the best striker in the Portuguese league at the moment.
Yes.
His left foot is just deadly. He's very, very dangerous. And, you know, if they manage to pull that off, and it's really low money, I think they were talking about 12.6 million euros plus the loan of two other players to Braga, and that looks like it might potentially happen. If it does, it's exactly what Sporting needed. They don't have a tall, physical target man striker, and that's something they've been missing, and that's the one thing they need to add to their game, because around that they've got everything. You know, they've got wingers that can cross a ball in Nuno Santos. You know, they've got second strikers like Pote who can put a shot away from anywhere. He's been very much a Bruno Fernandes type influence like they had before.
Yeah.
Benfica, I think they needed a centre back and they went and got one from Verissimo. Not sure if you saw the game last night, the Copa Libertadores final. It was Santos Palmeiras. Verissimo's starting 11 for Santos.
Right. Okay.
And I think our manager wants to introduce a new free centre backs system, wants to start playing 5 at the back, and signing Verissimo is a big step towards that. Very physical, very tall, to play alongside Otamendi and Vertonghen.
Yes.
That will hopefully shore up our defence. We have very good fullbacks who are very attacking, so likes of Grimaldo. Obviously, that will help him be able to be further up the pitch, not have to worry as much about coming back.
Yeah.
And that might really help us. There's issue is the final was last night. Benfica made an agreement with Santos that he'd only join once the Libertadores was over.
Yep.
Final was last night. He was rumored to fly today. The deal's already been signed. Everything's already been agreed, presented by our president saying it's done. The issue is because of COVID, they're struggling to get him here on a plane. Benfica in Portugal, we're going through a lockdown of our own, and we've stopped all flights from abroad or from certain countries, similar to what England's done.
Yeah.
And Brazil is on the no-fly list. So it looks like he might not be able to get here and do his tests prior to deadline day, which is on the 2nd in Portugal, I believe. Unless I think the idea at the moment is to either make a deal with the government and allow him to fly, or him flying to another country and then flying to Portugal. So we'll see how that goes. But it's all a little bit dodgy.
Working around it, yeah. You don't want a player that you can't bring in and use, essentially.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, trying to work.
And he's very good, but I can't imagine they would want him to not be playing football. I think they'd rather him stay at Santos than just be sitting on a bench not doing anything. Kind of like what we've done with Todibo. We've signed him on loan from Barcelona and he hasn't done anything. I mean, he did get injured in the first training session, but there's rumours that he's going away already and being loaned to a French team, which in all fairness, we're not really going to miss him. He played 2 or 3 games and he's very good, but he tries to play the ball out a bit too much and dribble past the first line of pressure, and he turns himself into danger more often than not, and it's not what we needed. So did try to sign William Carvalho, but
now that's a big name from the past, isn't it? There was a lot of teams sniffing around him for a long time. Defensive midfielder, yeah?
Yeah, the one that signed for Betis. I think he was linked with Arsenal. In all fairness, I think it was just before he left, he talked about wanting to sign for Arsenal. It was him, and then Danilo did the exact same thing a few months later, but then went to PSG instead.
Yeah.
I don't think Arsenal missed out. I think William Carvalho is proving that he's a Portuguese League standard player at Betis. He's not really standing out. And Danilo at PSG, they don't really have a big CDM, so Danilo's just more there physically than anything else.
Yeah.
And Partey is very good. So Arsenal got away with that one, I believe.
Indeed. Okay. Cool.
And Porto just only managed to sign Pepe from Gremio. Winger, very tidy, very quick, very similar to Everton, who we've got, and very young Brazilian, your typical Brazilian player. But he's only due to arrive in the summer. So I think it's all been agreed for 18.9 million or something like that, but he's only due to arrive in the summer. Other than that, there's not really a lot of transfers. I think outside of the big 3, Braga aren't really. I think they signed a centre mid that I'd never heard of before and a fullback I'd never heard of before. The rest of the teams, again, there's just not a lot of money to bring those players in. I think a team that's invested more during this winter window was Famalicão. They're considering they have so much money, they're backed by a George Mendes company, so they managed to get a lot of players in, which usually better than they expect. And I think they've managed to sign Heriberto, which played for Nottingham, I believe, for a little while. They've managed to sign a couple of big Portuguese league players that played for good teams in the past, so they might potentially improve the way they were playing from before.
Cool.
Other than that, it's just standout players who have been there before. I mean, Passos Ferreira massively overperforming this season, and they have Bruno Costa, who they bought from Porto last season. He was a young player, very, very similar to Bruno Fernandes. Very slim, but one hell of a shot on him, and a bit of a box to box. He really brings it out of him. They managed to draw 2-2 with Benfica, and I think they managed to take points away from Porto as well with a Bruno Costa goal. So that was quite impressive.
Cool.
Quite impressive.
Good stuff. So prediction-wise, are you looking at this thinking, do you know what? Sporting are going to nab this? Do you think they're going to fall away? Or does it all really depend on whether they get this deal for Paulinho over the line?
That's what I was about to say. I think if they get Paulinho, they win the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they avoid COVID issues, like Benfica's recently had 10 players out with COVID, I think it comes in waves, doesn't it? Yeah. And that will be a massive impact for teams. But if they manage to stay fit without these massive waves of COVID like Benfica's had, I think Sporting can walk away with it if they get Paulinho. If not, reckon Porto wins it. They've got a much bigger squad. Not just in terms of the amount of players, but the quality of players they have on the bench. They're not this issue with Sporting squad is they are all very young. I think half their squad is from their youth system. Incredible players, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they'll really feel it in their legs come towards the end of the season. The only advantage they have, well, slight disadvantage depending on what way you're looking at it, but they're not in Europe. They're not. I think they've been knocked out of every cup's now finished. They just won the League Cup against Braga in the final, but they're not in the Portuguese Cup anymore. I think they got knocked out by a second division team, and yeah, so it looks like they don't have anything else to put those players off, and that might play in their favor because they do have a very young squad, and I feel like eventually they'd crumble mentally. But that might not be the case. If not, Porto wins. Cool. There's no way they don't, unless Benfica can somehow find their form. But right now, if it wasn't for Weigl and every now and then Grimaldo turning it on, Pizzi and Rafa having a good game here or there, I don't think we'd even be third because it's just not looking good enough for us.
There you go, guys. Good. Heard it first. Sporting to win a title potentially for the first time in quite a while.
Since 2001. Or the league, anyway.
20 years. Look at that. Sporting deserve it. I mean, let's be fair. See how the Man United fans went after 26 years of winning it, and the Liverpool fans after 30 years. So it's deserved every so often.
I guess so. I'd much rather see Braga win it. Have a new team. It would be quite nice. Plus, they're not a rival, so we wouldn't have to put up with their fans.
The bragging rights are slightly less. Fabio, exactly. It's been a pleasure. As we've said, this is going to be an ongoing feature within Down the Local. So we will be spreading this out over weeks. We will be reviewing the Portuguese League on a monthly basis. And we will get to see you again then. But for now, thank you very much, Fabio. It's been a pleasure. Cheers.
My pleasure. Cheers. Bye, Badge.
Thank you, Fabio. Update from Portugal there. That was good. Just so Fabio can feel really special and happy, currently, Benfica are 0-0 with Sporting. He was genuinely concerned. He has no reason to be... Well, he has loads of reasons to be concerned. But he has no reason to be concerned tonight. It is 0-0. They're doing their bit.
Just on the 0-0, and obviously Fabio there talking about Benfica needing centre-backs. They're playing a back three tonight, and two of their back three, Jan Vertonghen and Nicolas Otamendi.
Yes, I saw.
Need for centre-backs, and none of the players he mentioned are playing.
Grimaldo playing?
No.
Brilliant. Darwin Núñez?
No.
Fantastic.
So what we can take from that is Fabio talks absolute shit. Only joking. Love him. Maybe we shouldn't have Portuguese people commenting on the Portuguese league, or maybe just teams they support.
To be fair, I think To be fair, I think he's right, though. I genuinely think Sporting, the way they've been playing this season, I genuinely think Sporting, this is their year to win it.
Oh yeah,
They've looked good.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they're the team that are out there trying to bring in, and I don't know, I'm not sure I don't think the Portuguese window shuts at 11 tonight. So they may have that little bit of extra time to bring in Paulinho. And if they can get Paulinho from Braga, that sees them over the line.
Yeah.
He is a beast. Although that said, they're top anyway. What would they
They
gain
are.
from going and signing Paulinho, apart from stunting Braga? Because he's not want to get his...
Braga are a decent side as well.
They are.
In all of
They are. But Paulinho...
I was a bit confused where he said not many people know who Boavista are. I mean, they were in the Champions League for about 3-4 seasons.
They were, but it was a while ago. It was a while ago. And obviously, as I said at the time, you always have one or two of those teams suddenly come up from nowhere. And it's always been Sporting, Benfica, Porto. But you've had
And
Braga. Well, Braga were only the last sort of 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Boavista.
Guimarães.
Vitoria de Guimarães there. Obviously, you've had the likes of Pacos Ferreira. And
I was going to say them,
Rio Ave done really well for a couple of years. So there's always those teams that sort of float up and around. But yeah, it's a big ask. It is a big ask to try and break that top three on a regular basis. Yeah. And as Fabio said within the interview, only 5 teams have ever won the Portuguese league.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. I
thought only Porto would ever won it, to be honest.
I remember Benfica.
Whilst it was that many.
I'm more intrigued that if that's the case, who the bloody hell are the other ones? Benfica, Porto, Sporting. I'm pretty sure Boa Vista won it one year. Who else is the 15?
There's one more out there, isn't there?
One more. Guys in the chat, guys and girls in the chat, if there's anyone left, who the hell? Who are the other Portuguese team?
We need to know.
We need to know. Even if you just Google it, cheat, but feel good. Feel good that you've informed us. So let's go back to the transfer window. Done deal.
Yeah.
We stopped at Man City. So we'll pick up where we left off. Man City.
So go on, tell us who's gone where, Neil.
Man City. No one in.
Yeah.
But out. We covered earlier Jaden Braff going out to Udinese.
Yeah.
Aro Muric, who's their goalkeeper, young goalkeeper, who's played a couple of times this season in cups and has looked quite good, has gone to Willem II or Willem II or however they want to do it in German, in Holland.
Willem II, I think it is.
Willem II. There you go. That's obviously twice in Dutch. Taylor Harwood Bellis, I saw this earlier, going to Blackburn.
That's only because Garcia stayed, isn't it?
It is.
That they let him go out on loan.
Yeah. But he won't be there at the end of the season, will he? Garcia will
No. I think he's out.
Yes, he is, yeah. But that's it. No one else really of any note. All others are going to League 2 and below. Oh, no. Keki Simmons has gone to Birmingham. Keki?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Manchester United have bought in Ahmed Diallo early in the window from Atalanta. And Dylan Levet has returned from a loan. Out has gone Ted Mengi.
Yeah.
Who signed for Derby today. Rooney, he's been loving a bit of transfer deadline day. He's going to be the new Redknapp, I reckon, the new Harry. He's picked up 4 players today, apparently.
I saw he's signed a striker as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
One's gone though, hasn't they? Haven't they?
Yeah.
Gone to Swansea. Whitaker. He's gone to Swansea. Quite recently.
I'll have to agree with you there. I have no idea. But Mengi's gone to Derby. Facundo Pellistri, who I'm quite surprised hasn't had a look in after they brought him in, has gone out to Alaves. Timothy Fosu-Mensah, who seems to have been at Man United forever without ever playing any games, went to Leverkusen as well. Leverkusen are doing well in Germany this year, and they have signed some proper cast-offs. Damari Gray and Fosu-Mensah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've quite clearly watched what's gone on at Leipzig and what's gone on at Dortmund and gone, I reckon we could have some of that. Let's go and pick up some guys from England and get them in our young guys and get them in our squad. And let's, we'll go on and win stuff. You've got it all wrong, Leverkusen. You fucked up. Ethan Laird has gone to MK Dons. Obviously, Jesse Lingard went to West Ham. That's an interesting one. I'm interested to see what happens with that Lingard transfer, where he'll play, things like that. Because I think West Ham have got good players in his preferred position already. I really like Manuel Lanzini.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good player. And I am surprised that West Ham sold Sebastian Haller.
Yes, I was surprised.
And didn't really replace him.
Because he was then starting to get a run, wasn't he?
He had a lot of injuries, but he looked fantastic at Frankfurt when he was playing as a target man in a 2, and all he was doing was teeing up Jovic.
Yeah, and he hadn't been great, but then Antonio got injured, and I think he went a couple of games.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of goals.
I think he scored 2 goals, didn't he? And then the following week he was shipped off.
Yeah. Is it Ajax he's gone to?
Yeah.
It's an unusual signing for Ajax as well. They don't tend to go for the older players, but
Yeah. Just on the Portuguese thing.
Yeah.
Has anyone come up with the other winners in the chat?
No one on the chat yet. Winners.
Tell you who it was?
Go on.
It was back in 1945.
Yeah.
And it was Belenenses.
The Bellens. Bellens won it.
Yeah.
Sweet. I love playing against them on FM. Bellens.
Yeah.
Winners. Yes. Tatif Chong has gone to Club Brugge.
He went there ages ago. He went there in summer.
Oh, he's gone back.
Unless it.
No, he didn't. He went somewhere else. He was somewhere else and he wasn't playing as much. He's gone to Bruges now. And James Garner has gone to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Newcastle. No one in. Apparently, Joe Willock is not 100% confirmed yet.
I think, yeah.
It's a done deal. We know it's a done deal. Yeah, it is a done deal.
We can confirm.
He's probably been stopped on the M1 going to
you
Newcastle,
being
told that it's an unnecessary journey. And he said, no, I'm going to sign for Newcastle. And they said, as we said, it's an unnecessary journey. You don't want to be going and playing with Steve Bruce and Julian.
I saw one just when they got knocked out by Brentford.
Yep.
In the cup, and the guy who does the impressions, Darren Farley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, well, Bradford are a really, really good side. They turned up tonight, and he goes, Steve, it was Brentford you were playing. Oh, what do you know? We've been planning for Bradford all week. Well, yeah.
Way man. Love it, Kelly. It's been officially confirmed that Kabak has signed. Apparently, Kabak and apparently Mustafi has already signed for Schalke as well.
Yeah, that's what we were saying, wasn't it?
One deal led to the other. What was quite interesting, and I was flicking when we were listening to Fabio, I was flicking onto different websites, and I had a little look on Talk Sport, and it was interesting that Perry Groves, live on Talk Sport today, said, "I cannot understand," because apparently Liverpool were linked with Mustafi initially when they wanted a centre back, and he said
they also linked with Socrates as well.
They were, and Perry Groves said, "I cannot understand why Liverpool would want to sign Mustafi. I've seen him play for Arsenal, and I wouldn't want to sign him." Arsenal fan Perry Groves telling Liverpool not to sign Mustafi.
I was watching Paul Merson earlier as well. He goes, Mustafi, he looks like he's getting shipped out to Schalke which he'll then probably get shipped out of there as well.
I openly said I was on someone's channel the other day, one of the guys on Dan, and I was on his chat, and I said Arsenal have already strengthened their backline this week by letting Socrates and Mustafi go.
Yeah.
You know, you're better off playing with no one.
Well, we've got an abundance of centre halves at the moment.
You've got an abundance of them, just they're not very good.
So no, they're like we already discussed Holden. We've got Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah.
Pablo Mari, who looked good in the couple of games he managed to get under his belt.
Yeah. Gabriel didn't look great the other day though.
No, I think he's still recovering from COVID, isn't he?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think there's a lot of people who have had it, and once you're over it, they're ready to go. Cool, just come up on Sky Sports. Sweet. That's the Kabak deal.
That?
Kabak deal.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a misunderstanding that once people are over it, that's it. They're good to go again. And I don't.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not the case. We've seen it have a major effect on a lot of players. I mean, Pogba. It took him a while to. Even if Pogba hasn't been playing well, there's always an engine there.
Well, another one, St. Maximum.
Yes.
Really, really been struggling, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's only just returned. He's been out since before Christmas, I think.
Yeah. So Newcastle, obviously, Dondre Yedlin, we said, going to Galatasaray. Rolando Aarons, who at one point was going to be the next big thing, and he looked quite tidy when he was playing games for him as a winger. But he's gone to Huddersfield on a perm deal. Sheffield United, no one in, because they probably couldn't afford to waste any more money.
They've been waiting on loan deals, haven't they? They've been waiting. They want a left centre half and a centre midfielder, I believe.
And they've got no one so far. And
no.
And I'm not surprised. Why? Why would anyone want to go there at the moment? Ryan Brewster. What a waste of money that's proved to be. Has Brewster actually scored a goal?
Maitland-Niles might want to go there. I mean, that would be a hell of a signing for Sheffield United.
I don't know who's actually worse off at the moment. I don't know whether West Brom or Sheffield United are more likely to go down. At least West Brom have made some signings.
Yeah.
And they've got Sam Allardyce.
Exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? You've got Big Sam. Once he gets a couple of his players in,
he'll be re-signing JJ Okocha. He'll be... Kevin Nolan.
He's not Harry.
He'll be bringing in Kevin Nolan. So Sheffield United have let out a couple of guys who are no one, gone low level. Southampton, obviously, we've seen have been trying to sign everyone from Liverpool on loan and being turned down at the moment. Yeah. Although Takayumi Minamoto is apparently potential. That's not been knocked back.
Southampton were also interested in Maitland-Niles as well, I think.
Were they?
Yeah. Direct rivals, though, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, the Minamoto one is actually an offing. It's potential. There's potential there. So players out from Southampton, again, no one of any note. Highest level they've gone to is Sunderland. Tottenham have signed Keziah Sterling. Oh no, they haven't. Sorry, that's my bad. Keziah Sterling was on loan at Southend. He's come back, and they sent him straight out to Greenock Morton.
Yeah.
Benfica have recalled today Gedson Fernandes.
He wasn't getting games, was he?
He was not. Nope. So he is gone. And again, going through, Troy Parrott going to Ipswich was the only other one of note. West Brom, they've gone a bit crazy, as you'd expect, with Big Sam going in, bringing in Andy Lonergan as a backup goalkeeper.
The legend.
What a hero, Andy.
To be fair, I'd have rather had him as a backup at Norwich than Neuland.
Yeah, Andy Lonergan's not played enough games to throw the ball in his own net. Robert Snodgrass, fantastic signing for West Brom.
Yeah.
33 years old, but the guy's never had any pace, really. So, as a winger, he's always had to be good with the ball, and he is. His deliveries and things like that are fantastic. It was so unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, I must admit, when Villa didn't go up this season, he was at the club. They got beaten in that playoff final by Fulham. it was a shame because Snodgrass would have then signed at the end of the season, and obviously Villa not going up, he didn't. He went back to West Ham, and then they brought in Pellegrini, who kept him. So that was a shame, but good luck to him at West Brom. From what I understand, he played the other day and looked good. They've brought in Mabai Diang from Galatasaray on loan. Okay Yokozuna today came in from Celta Vigo. And obviously Andy Lonergan came in as a backup goalkeeper. They sent Charlie Austin out on loan to QPR. Jonathan...
Who scored tonight?
Sorry? He scored tonight. He did score tonight.
And just if anyone's watching, QPR won 2-1 against Watford with a goal in the 89th minute from...
Albert Adoma. Can't cross the ball. Cannot cross the ball to save his life, but picked up a fantastic touch facing the wrong way.
Oh.
God knows where. I don't think he meant it. I think he was trying to...
I think he was trying to cross it.
He was still looking for El Mohammadi. I think he was probably trying an overhead kick, and it kind of fell for him, so he hit the volley on the turn. They've also... West Brom have also sent back Filip Krovinovic back to Benfica. Jonathan Bond, who was former England under-21 goalkeeper, who was at Reading for a period of time, was battling it out first season he came with Ali Al-Habsi to be first choice keeper. Lost that battle after about 4 games. Barely ever kicked a ball, played again for Reading. Went to West Brom somehow. And is now going to LA.
He knows him, doesn't he?
Oh, exactly. And he's now gone to LA Galaxy. So he's probably going to go and sit on their bench. And then you've got West Ham. Obviously, we said a minute ago, bringing in the Jesse Lingard. Obviously, bringing in...
That's a very interesting one there.
I'm intrigued with that because I watched the highlight... Well, not a highlight reel. It's actually quite long. Of Said Ben Rama playing the other night. And he looked good.
Well, he's been permanently signed, hasn't he?
Well, they had to because they couldn't sign Lingard otherwise because they had too many loans. So they had to push that through to make it a perm now. But yes, so Said Ben Rama and then Jesse Lingard. It's going to be interesting. As I say, with Lanzini, obviously they're intending then to play Michail Antonio through the middle. And then trying to work out who's going to play where. But obviously, we said Sebastian Haller going out to Ajax.
You've got Yarmolenko there as well, haven't you?
Who, sorry?
Still?
Yarmolenko. Yeah, Yarmolenko's still there. He's always injured, though. He plays 2 or 3 games and then he's crocked. Now, this is one I did not realise. Wait for it. Wait for it. Winston Reid.
Oh, yes, I saw that. He's gone on loan, hasn't he?
To Brentford. I did not know he was still at West Ham.
Okay.
For a couple of years, he was quality.
Where did you think he was?
Well, I just thought he wasn't at West Ham anymore.
COVID.
He's barely because he's barely played. In like 2 years, he's barely kicked a ball.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe he'd gone back to the A-League or something like that. Or Germany, because why not? They probably got confused and thought, Bayer Leverkusen probably wanted...
Bayer Leverkusen!
And then we finish up on the roundup of done deals that have been confirmed earlier already with Wolves. Who, again, have been fairly active to an extent. No, they haven't. I lie. Half of them are people coming back. They signed Willian Jose from Real Sociedad. Replacing Jimenez, who, we don't know how long he's going to be out for.
He's back in light training though, isn't he?
What, Jimenez?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a while before he's anywhere near the level he was.
Possibly, yeah. I think he's been in light training about just over a week.
Because head injury like that, you're going to second guess every time the ball goes in the air, aren't you? And especially as that was one of his main strengths, wasn't it? Holding the ball up and out. But Willian Jose going in there to backfill for Jimenez. I've seen him play a couple of times. I'll be honest, I don't really rate him. It's a loan deal. It's not going to be any more.
He's filling, isn't he?
He's filling in. I think it's harsh on Fabio Silva.
He'll probably still get games, I think. I think he'll still get games if he's not that great, because he's only young, isn't he? And if he's their only striker,
Yeah.
that's going to be a lot of games he's going to have to play.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. I think obviously, so they bought. So Morgan Gibbs White has come back from his loan deal with Swansea. Now, obviously, Swansea have then replaced him with Conor Hourihane. But I think Morgan Gibbs White's a quality player. I'm surprised that he hasn't had more opportunities.
I was surprised at that as well.
Patrick Cutrone came back, and I thought, right, they've pulled Cutrone back because they need a striker. Pulled him back from Fiorentina. 3 days later, sent him out on loan to Valencia.
Yeah.
There's a waste of money right there. £20 million for a guy who's played 10 games and then been on loan the rest of the time. And they going out of the door as well. A couple of others that are low level. But then Roderick Miranda, who they bought in and has barely ever kicked a ball and has left by mutual consent.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and the one I told you about earlier, which I find very, very funny, Luke Matheson.
Going to Ipswich, the Norwich fan.
Going to Ipswich. He is a Norwich fan, and he was signed. I think he scored a goal in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago, which put out a Premier League side. I can't remember who it was.
Did he play for Norwich then?
No, he never played for Norwich.
Oh.
I think he was on their books as a kid or whatever, but he was playing for Rochdale.
Right, okay.
And he scored a goal against a Premier League side, which put them out. I can't remember who it was. And then in the summer, he got a move to Wolves.
Right, okay.
So I don't think he's played for Wolves.
No, I would imagine not. I've never heard of him. So when you kind of said it was
well, he's not Portuguese, is he? So he probably doesn't.
That's true. It must have been. He must have been signed before that was going on anyway. So.
No. It was the beginning of the season. I think he was signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So another shock has just gone through, and I'm surprised with this one. Fulham have let Abu Bakar Kamara go out on loan to Dijon for the rest of the season.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Fulham need goals. That guy's he can be a bit of a liability.
Yeah,
but he's a beast. I'm surprised by that. I am surprised by that. Apparently, Josh King is currently considering his options. He doesn't want to consider too long, does he? Because time's running out. He's got the choice of Fulham or Everton. Mustafi. So done deal. Mustafi has officially signed for Schalke. Arsenal have just put a tweet out saying thank you and good luck. And I think in brackets and they put and good riddance.
Yeah.
But it's not there. I think they've Tipex that out.
Just on the Matheson one, quickly again. The goal he scored knocked Manchester United out at Old Trafford.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And he still couldn't get a game for Wolves.
No.
So, as Kelly pointed out, Ozan Kabak has completed his move to Liverpool. And £1 million loan deal with £18 million at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Harry Redknapp, I'll be honest, Harry likes to state the obvious. Having watched...
Well, Harry thought Tottenham were going to win the league at the start of the season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did say that when they signed Bale. Him and Jamie were on transfer deadline day then. When I used to watch that. Before we had a down the local transfer deadline day session. But yes, so Josh King, apparently Harry Redknapp, has said, obviously I watch Bournemouth a lot. And I have to say, since the start of the season, Josh King's heart hasn't been there. No shit, Harry. I mean, the guy looked so uninterested the other day.
Yeah.
He played in the FA Cup third round, didn't he? And he scored a couple of goals and looked really good. And that was purely because he's playing in the FA Cup. He's hoping people are watching.
Yeah.
But Bournemouth have been on a proper slide, so...
Yeah, that was quite funny with Bournemouth, because obviously I think they had a game against was it Brentford or something.
Yeah.
One of the decent teams, and they drew or won.
Yeah.
And then I think the commentator said they had a decent running because they were playing all teams sort of like around the relegation or bottom half.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've won a game. I think they've not won one of them.
No. And then obviously played Reading, and Reading are flying and dispatched.
Yeah.
First half, took them apart. Second half went, yeah, we don't need to now. An agreement in principle has been reached with Minamino.
Minamino, yeah.
Negotiations started this morning, apparently. But it's rather last minute trying to get it through. An old Reading defender, I say old Reading defender, youngster, never played a game for us, Zach Jules, has left Walsall and joined MK Dons.
Okay.
Jim White is not wearing a tie.
What?
Come on, Jim, sort it out.
Does he know?
Christ alive.
Has anyone told him?
He's got a handkerchief in his pocket. He's got a little hanky, but he's got no tie. No tie. Bloody hell, Jim.
Casual.
Will Grigg has left Sunderland and gone to MK Dons for a medical.
Is he still on fire, or has someone put him out?
I think last time I heard he had gonorrhea, so there's a little bit of fire. There's definitely a burn. There's definitely a burn there. But to be fair, mate, that's a standard for Sunderland.
Yeah.
Danny Graham also has been booted out of Sunderland. And
Danny Graham?
Yeah.
Didn't he play for them in the Premier League?
Yeah. He's also got hideous hair now.
And that was... How long ago was Sunderland in the Premier League?
6-7 years.
Feels longer than that.
Oh, wow. Okay, so John Joe Kenny has gone to Celtic, and Oliver Neacham looks like he's going on loan to Marseille from Celtic.
Celtic are falling apart anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just waiting for Neil Lennon to get booted, aren't they, so they can get Eddie Howe.
I heard Frank Lampard was going to go there.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Lampard
Him and
and
Stevie.
Gerrard.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the rumour, Mel. You heard it here first.
If I was Celtic, I'd much rather have Eddie Howe, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, I heard Frank.
So,
because where's he going to go?
That's the thing, isn't it? One of the guys, a guy I work with, last week. No, what did he say? Last week? Yeah, it must have been either last week or the week before. Bought a Frank Lampard shirt. That was the Lampard shirt from the last season he played for Chelsea.
Right.
And he said, so I got this. He's a Chelsea fan, and he was like, yeah. He said, I wanted to get it signed. He said, I bought it. It turned up. A day later, he got sacked. He said, where the fuck's he going to end up for me to get this shirt signed? I have to stalk him. He's going to bugger off to America to live with Christine Bleakley, isn't he? But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But so Reading, end of last season, had a young right back called Teddy Howe. Played a few games for us, but was told at the start of the season, or was told in the summer that he wasn't going to be a regular, and he wanted to play regular football, so he went to Blackpool. Okay. He was playing relatively regularly at the start of the season. He's now just gone on loan to Scunthorpe. Should have stuck around as our backup. Andy Yardom got injured 3 games in. We've been playing centre-backs at right-back for the rest of the season.
Who's been playing there?
For Reading?
Yeah.
Tom Holmes.
Okay.
Young centre-back, 20-year-old, 22-year-old, 21-year-old centre-back playing there. We've got...
Where did Owen Richards play?
Left-back.
Okay. He's pretty decent, isn't he?
He's very good, yeah. And apparently the deal has not been done yet for him to go to Bayern Munich. So there's still a chance. And I heard
he's probably the best left back in the Championship at the moment.
He is. I would say so. And Omar and Michael Elise, no one has come in and paid the minimum 8 million quid release clause.
Yeah.
It's a bargain. But no one's come in and offered it. Now, I think it's bizarre. I don't think he's got a release clause of 8 million quid.
No.
Because it's been downplayed a few times. But I reckon all of this has come from, because I double checked it yesterday, and on Football Manager, he has got a release clause of 8 million quid, and I reckon someone's picked it up from there, and they've run with it, and it's become real news. But
I'll tell you who I'm surprised hasn't got a move in the Championship, who I really like, QPR's Ilias Sher.
Yes, well, there was talk of him going to other Championship teams, wasn't there? But that was it. Nothing higher.
Because I think if Buendia had gone, I thought that'd have been a good move for Norwich.
Yeah, it could have been. To be fair, if Buendia had gone, a good move for Norwich would have been to pay 8 million quid to get to get a lease.
Yeah. Well, depending on money, they could have probably got them both.
Well, yeah. I think.
But then there's that thing that clubs then know how much you've got to spend.
Yeah, exactly. But then if it's a release clause, as soon as you meet it, the player goes.
Yeah.
But I think at the moment,
if there is a release clause, like you said.
I think at the moment, going forward, Reading have got a fantastic setup going forward. When you think they've got a Ajaria Swift back in Elise, you've got Mite coming back as well. You've still got George Puskas to come back in, who can play either side or up top. Lucas Zhau's looked really good. And Josh Laurent and Andy Riminota apparently have been unbelievable as just smash and wax in centre midfield.
I think I heard them say something that Reading really, really need to get promoted this season to meet the financial stuff of next season.
They need to either go up or sell Swift and Liam Moore, because they're the two big high earners.
Okay.
But we will also be safe, because at the end of the season, Sonny Aloka's contract ends, and so does Sam Baldock's, and they're both on 15 grand a week in their shit. So, oh mate, dross. Paolo Gazzaniga.
Yeah, left Tottenham.
Yeah, left Tottenham and gone to Elche.
Yeah.
Completing a move going there. That's a surprise, because he's all right. When he stepped in to cover Lloris, he's looked quite good. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to be a backup goalkeeper for your whole life, but
no.
Sometimes you got to accept your fate. And he wasn't good enough to be first choice at Spurs, or at Southampton, or anywhere else he's been. He's basically just a modern day Stuart Taylor. Just accept your spot, mate. Get on with it.
Scott Carson.
Yeah, he'll go to Elche and he'll play the first 5 or 6 games, and then he'll probably be backup keeper.
If he was English, he could get a Man City to meet their quota.
If he was English, we'd be talking about him getting in the England squad.
Nick Pope doesn't even get in.
Apparently, Joel Matip is set to miss the rest of the season due to ankle ligament injury, which is then why they had to sign 2 centre-backs.
Well, he's missed most of the season anyway. I mean,
he's only just come back, hasn't he? So,
well, he's always only just coming back, isn't he? It's like one game in 4, I think, for Matip, isn't it?
It's not far off that now, yeah. So Harry Redknapp has been talking about Gareth Bale after saying at the last transfer deadline day that Tottenham signing Gareth Bale makes them genuine Premier League contenders. And I'll be honest, it did. I genuinely thought Spurs could be right up there. I thought, they've made a couple of deals here. Letting Vertonghen go was not the sharpest move ever. Playing Eric Dyer at centre-back is not the sharpest move ever.
He wasn't even in the squad last night, was it? Was it last night they played Brighton?
Yeah. What, Dyer?
Yeah, he wasn't even in the squad.
Isn't he injured at the moment, though?
No, just wasn't in the squad.
Interesting.
Because him and that Joe Rodon played against Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah.
And one of the Liverpool goals.
Rodon.
Did you see? I think it was Mane's where he came in.
Yeah.
And no one dealt with it really, did they? Like Lloris didn't gather it. Rodon just sort of looked at it. Dyer didn't track his man.
Joe Rodon, very good in the air.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
On Tottenham, when Bale signed, you thought it was going to be him get fit, and then it was going to be sort of Son Bale just behind sort of Kane,
Yeah.
realistically, isn't it?
Yeah. But at the moment,
They've got
it looks like
Well, they've
Lamella
got-
is ahead of him in the pecking order.
they've got an option for Bale for the second season on loan as well, but do you think they'll take it?
I suppose it depends upon what else is available. Daniel Levy's one of those people, isn't he? He won't. If they can get Bale for a second season, paying the wages that they're doing at the moment, which is about half of his wages for Real,
Yeah.
and it costs them like £5 million. If you then think that's signing Gareth Bale for £10 million
Now,
for 2
what's the
years,
point?
what?
If he's playing like as much as he is now, playing like he is now, what's the point? You might as well recall Troy Parrott to come sit on the bench for you.
Yeah.
And play in the Europa League.
I just think
At least you're investing in one of your own, really, aren't you?
Yeah. I think there's an element here. I'm just trying to re-find it because it just updated it all and then skipped it away. But Harry Redknapp was talking about Gareth Bale at Tottenham and saying that he's not being used properly and all this sort of thing, which is true. He ain't. But
you should know.
Yeah, but he's saying. But he's still saying, yeah, he's basically blaming Jose. So he's saying he's not picking Dele Alli. Why?
No.
You know, he's one of the good talents. You've got Gareth Bale, great player. He was one of the top 5 players in the world when I had him.
Danny Rose,
yeah.
Not going anywhere, but not even in Tottenham's plan. I don't even think he's got a squad number, is he?
No.
Why?
But then when you watched, have you ever seen the Tottenham thing, Win or Die?
Oh no, I have. I keep meaning to watch it. All or Nothing, isn't it?
All or Nothing. That's it. Yeah, and Jose pulls him into it. Danny Rose rocks up at Jose's office.
Yeah.
And moans about not being picked and not having the opportunity. And he said, but you did play and you didn't play well. And he said, but it was one game. And he said, yeah, but then the next game he came in and he played well. So I kept picking him. And he's like, yeah, but... And it actually... It's awkward. It shows Danny Rose's desire to play. But it also... but it also shows an element of arrogance and petulance. And that he's having a sulk about not being picked. It's the sort of thing you'd expect on a Sunday league team. You know, it's, mate, you didn't play well. You're not playing. Well, you pick your best team. I'm better than him. Based on what? Well, all the other times.
They said I was our best player.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done.
That's because they were getting all the joy down your side.
Exactly, yeah. It's because the ball was going over your head and you were looking like a numpty.
You're their best player. Keep doing that.
Yeah, you're the man. You're the man. You're helping us win.
See if you can get a goal, son. Go on.
Back to your keeper.
Leave this space here. Go on.
Wait for the bobble. Back to your keeper. But yeah. So you
not talking about anyone in particular, are we?
No. But no, so you've kind of got that. You've got that going on as well. It's an awkward one. It is an awkward one on how to kind of sort it out and get the best out of people. And I think Premier League. I mean, Danny Rose has knocked back a couple of moves.
Yeah.
Now, that makes him look bad, like he just wants to sit on the cash. But he's been at Tottenham his whole life. He's probably got a young family. I don't know. But he's 30. He's probably got a young family. Why would he want to uproot from Tottenham where he's been? I think he went there from... It wasn't Leeds. It was someone else. It was someone up north, though, when he was like 17.
Yeah.
He's been at Spurs for 13 years, bar a couple of loan moves here and there. Why would he want to uproot his whole family to another place when he's being paid the cash he is at Spurs?
I mean, there's an element of sort of Jose's never going to stick around too long anywhere, is he really? So it might just be a sort of wait it out and sort of really.
The problem is though with Danny Rose being 30 now, if he waits it out too long, he's going to be 32. By the time Jose goes, he's going to be 32, something like that. And you know, other people will have established themselves. Jose would have signed someone else to replace him. He's already got Sergio Reguilon.
Regulon, yeah.
And he's got Matt Doherty, who, although
he's online, isn't he, Regulon?
No, I thought they signed him.
Oh, sure, it's a loan.
I thought they'd signed him. But either way, they got Matt Doherty as well, although he's been crap.
He was on the bench last night as well.
Yeah.
They played... who did they play there? They played someone out of position there.
Well, Matt Doherty played left back.
They played back five.
Who?
Tottenham last night. They played a back five, and Doherty wasn't the wing back, even though he's a wing back for Wolves.
Yeah.
But they played Sissoko there.
So, Doherty played on the other side.
No. They played Sissoko and Aurier.
No, Aurier didn't play.
Oh, no. They fell out. No.
It was Doherty.
No, Doherty didn't play. I swear. He was on the bench. 100%.
Oh, controversial. Let's have a look. Because I know Doherty was playing when Aurier went off at half-time and stormed out of the place. And everyone was saying, how on earth has he stayed on and Aurier got took off? But it was because Aurier threw his toys out the pram, and that's why he took him off. He didn't get taken off because of anything else, but apparently Aurier proper kicked off in the changing rooms. Scores, fixtures, there we go. Yesterday, Tottenham, Brighton. Spurs. Dombele, Vinicius, Højbjerg, Rondon, Sissoko, Mora, Bergwijn, Bale. Right, yeah. No, you're right. Lineups.
Yeah.
So they played Ben Davies and
that's it.
And Sissoko. Yeah. And went with Sanchez, Alderweireld, Rodon, and Dombele, Højbjerg, Bale, Son, and Bergwijn. Yeah, that's right. Because Doherty played and he was dreadful the other night against Liverpool.
But to play someone out of position,
against
Brighton,
Well, Sissoko always played when he first came over it. He always played as a winger for Newcastle. He was a centre midfielder for Toulouse before coming over, but he was a winger for Newcastle for a period of time.
Yeah.
But I know obviously he wants to play centre midfield. His touch isn't good enough, but
he's a Maitland-Niles and an Oxlade-Chamberlain, is he?
Well, yeah, maybe because he gets to play centre midfield most of the time now for Spurs. But yeah, he's just not very good at it. That's why they signed in Dombele. Although Harry Winks, no move for Harry Winks. He was desperate to get out.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened. And he's going to spend the rest of the season sitting on the bench for Spurs. But probably safe in the knowledge of getting a place in the England squad for the Euros.
Well, it depends how Maitland-Niles performs, doesn't it?
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
No.
Maitland-Niles would have to single-handedly keep West Brom up and then become an absolute legend for the rest of all time. Anything happening at Man United? Been strange.
No, Ollie said earlier, didn't he? He said, "Don't stay up late. Nothing going on."
Yeah, but they've got someone there anyway.
Yeah.
Sure obviously, because it's bloody freezing cold. Ollie said nothing's happening. Can I go home? Nah. So
Ollie said, "Don't stay up."
Yeah,
like, regardless of what happens anywhere else, go to bed.
Yeah. Mate, of all the people who's going to tell you the truth in the Premier League, Ollie is the one who probably couldn't lie.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
He cannot lie. The poor guy. He's not got it. What's the latest on Willock to Newcastle? Radio silence.
What's that?
Radio silence. Willock to Newcastle.
Okay.
So, radio silence from sources close to Newcastle and sources close to the deal as well. It did take a while for Willock to decide that he wanted to go to Newcastle.
Yeah.
But deal struck between the two clubs. Willock has had a think about it and decided he wants to go, but Willock is yet to be announced as a Newcastle player. If they're unable to get the transfer over the line, hugely frustrating day for Steve Bruce.
Well, you know.
Oh, couldn't happen to a better gaffer.
That's what I meant to bring up that I saw earlier as well. Bernard, Everton.
Yes, deal fell through. El Nassr.
Yeah.
I
that's.
He's the other winger I was thinking of. But obviously they were trying to offload him to then bring in. But I like Bernard. I think he's a good little player.
I rate him.
Yeah,
I rate him.
Tidy little player. A lot of time for him. A lot of time for him.
I don't know why he's not in and around that Everton team.
No. Well, he is. But sits on the bench most of the time. Game changer. Who doesn't ever come on to change the game. They never bring him on to change the game. So, yeah, he kind of defeats the object of the statement. But Rooney looks to Gerrard for Edmonton. Oh, so Rooney's still floating around trying to get some deals going in.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bournemouth striker Josh King is expected to sign for Everton. Fulham expect to formally announce the signing of Josh Mayer from Bordeaux instead. So they were looking at signing. They were both in the battle. They were trying to get Mayer anyway. But it looks.
I think Fulham's got the better deal out of that.
Yeah, and I don't even know who Josh Mayer is.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. And I still think Fulham have got a better deal.
Yeah. Have Arsenal had the best transfer window? Someone's questioning on here.
In terms of getting dead weight out of the door, you'd have to probably say yes. And what they've got in Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard.
Odegaard, yeah. I mean, but to get rid of Ozil was the best bit of business I think Arsenal could have done.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the squad. He wasn't named or anything like that. It just seems a bit of a bizarre one. That it's a shame it ended the way it has.
Yeah,
for him because I think he genuinely likes Arsenal.
Yeah. I do think I think it's a weird one, but by the same take, it took a long time to get rid. But when you think Arsenal were knocking back bids for years,
yeah, I mean, I just think it's quite lucky that they've got rid of these players and it's coincided with an upturn in form. Because obviously, if we keep losing, and then Ozil goes. You'd be like, well, why are we getting rid of Ozil?
Yeah, why aren't we playing him? Yeah.
So it's been quite fortunate in that sense that Emile Smith-Rowe has come in.
Yeah.
And done fantastic.
Although he's going to be straight back out again.
Well, there's a lot. Arsenal are still in the Europa League, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know I love the Europa League.
Bring on the Thursday night football.
He's still young, though. He's still young, and do you know what I mean?
But Odegaard's younger.
He's not. Smith-Rowe's 20.
I thought Smith-Rowe was 21, 22.
No, Smith-Rowe's 20.
Okay. I thought he was a bit older, but just looked really old. There's a freeze frame on here of Arteta. It's not flattering. He genuinely looks like he's had a lot of surgery.
Well, to me, it's the equivalent of freeze frame and Fabio, isn't it? In a bad position, because that guy is fucking beautiful, and if you can make him ugly somehow,
yeah, you do. Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
fair. Okay. Cool. Any other deals going through? I mean, there's nothing really coming up. We're still waiting on Maitland-Niles.
Yeah. Willock.
We're still waiting on Joe Willock to be confirmed. Minamino, potentially. Josh King looks like it's a done deal now.
Is there a surprise one out there? Is there a big
there's
sort of last minute one that no one sees coming?
But there's no rumblings of anything. Is there? That's the thing. I'll be honest, I'm surprised. All the talk about Josh King. Villa
Yeah.
were the main team touted with him in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't come in for him. So that
I think the big move is, if it's going to be a surprise, it's going to come from somewhere like the Championship. It's going to be somewhere like Elise or Buendia or Cantwell or one of Brentford's actual decent players.
yeah, well, Ivan Toney or someone like that.
Yeah.
So Big Sam has said he's waiting for official confirmation, but he's told Jim White that the Baggies have got 4 deadline deals over the line. Oh, Ainsley Maitland-Niles switch from Arsenal is one of them. Not been confirmed anywhere yet, but Sam has told Jim White that apparently that is a done deal.
Okay. Yeah, it is done.
Yeah.
It is done. It's been confirmed, yeah.
Just been confirmed.
We can confirm here.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going to get relegated.
A West Brom player. There we go.
He's going to get relegated with West Brom not getting the England squad and probably play as a left back. Or centre back. He done that for Arsenal a few times, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, when they played 3 at the back a couple of times, he played centre back. I'm sure he did. Just to
I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Just to give him some pace.
I probably Kolasinac's played there. And Maitland-Niles played at wing back.
Oh, I don't know.
While they played a back 3, I'm pretty sure he's never played at centre half.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Anyway, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang joined Borough.
Yeah.
You knew that one. Won 2
He was
promotions.
at PSG, wasn't he?
What?
He was at PSG, wasn't he?
Was he? What, as a kid?
Mendez-Lang?
As a kid?
Oh, last season, wasn't he?
No, you're thinking of Eric Moto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chopumento, or whatever his name is. Yeah, he was awful. Scored in the Champions League semi-final, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah.
Upset all those Stoke players.
Yeah.
Stoke fans, even, not players. He didn't upset any of the players. So Mendez-Lang signing for Borough to link up with Neil Warnock again. Won 2 promotions to the Premier League together. At Cardiff, indeed.
Yeah.
He's gone there. Nothing else going on. Oh, Klopp has hailed Kabak, a rival.
Yeah.
Been speaking to the Liverpool website in glowing terms about Ozan Kabak, where if he's speaking in glowing terms about him and saying how amazing he is, why the hell has he waited till the last minute to sign him?
So on the Liverpool centre back position,
Yep.
do you see them both playing?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The Ben Davies one's going to be an interesting one. How
old is he? I don't
25.
really know much about him, to be honest.
25. But it's an interesting one in so much as, it's going to be a kick in the face for Reece Williams. Admittedly, the guy played and he did not shower himself in glory. But the guy's 20 and he's been thrown in.
Who's the other one?
Nathaniel Phillips, Nat Phillips.
Yeah. He got man of the match on his first game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Coming in there, Phillips, yeah.
But they're both 20, being thrown in and expected to perform at a top level straight away without a centre back next to them.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. You're going to struggle, but the amount of slating that was dished out to them on social media and things like that for their performances was really harsh. Really harsh.
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be an element in there where people have got to sort of take a step back and realise that they are so young.
Exactly, yeah.
But
it's the day and age we're in, really, isn't it?
Unfortunately so.
We social media.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, there's signing these 2 guys. It'll be interesting to see. I think obviously Kabak will probably go straight in.
Well, on that go back, I heard he's a decent centre half in a shit team,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
If I'm being bluntly, and I don't know. I think he's going to struggle, to be honest.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be a shining light for him straight away. But didn't they got Matip from Schalke? Didn't they?
Was that when Schalke were good though?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it'll help with the bedding in process.
Ralph Farman plays for Schalke, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know. He didn't play for Norwich, did he?
He didn't really play for Schalke.
No.
Was it start of this season? They got dicked 7-0 by Bayern.
Yep.
And he was in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the best spend of $50,000 a week Norwich ever done, wasn't it? I mean,
come on. Been loads of waste of money.
Trumped a Thomas Helbig deal every time. Trumped Josip Dermich. And I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, I saw something that Birmingham were interested in Dermich.
He's without a club, and didn't Norwich release him?
I don't think he's been released.
Oh. So you're still paying him? Shit.
We are still paying him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he out on loan somewhere?
No.
Was he
he's
out?
not. He's in a Danny Rose situation. He's not even got a squad number.
Oh, man. Bad times.
Yeah. He's in Switzerland, I think.
He's in Switzerland. He's signed to Norwich, but he's out on the chocolate.
Well, if you know you're not going to play,
it is true. And
what's the point?
Yeah, just come through. Breaking news. I mean, it's not breaking news, is it? We knew it about 10 minutes ago. But West Brom have completed the loan signing of Ainsley Maitland-Niles for him to not do anything at West Brom and not get in the England squad and get relegated.
Unless there's serious shortages of fullbacks.
Yep. Apparently Middlesbrough close to agreeing a loan move for Fulham midfielder Neskins Cabano.
Okay.
Who I've seen play briefly. He's bang average. His name is better than his football.
I was going to say, I can't say I recall who he is or seeing him much.
Named after the famous Dutch footballer, Johan Neskins. Or Neeskens. But yeah, Neeskens Cabano going to Middlesbrough because obviously that was who Derby signed today. They got Patrick Roberts, didn't they?
Did they?
Cancelled his loan at Middlesbrough and went to Derby.
At some point, you've got to face that you're probably not good enough. I mean, yeah, if you're Patrick Roberts, I mean, Norwich cancelled his loan, Middlesbrough cancelling his loan.
No. He asked to cancel his Middlesbrough loan
because
he wanted
wasn't
to go to Derby.
Probably because he wasn't playing.
Why
would you want to go play for Derby over Middlesbrough? Looking at the league at the moment, unless you want to play under Wayne Rooney.
I think that's a big thing. He wanted to go there
or just to meet Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. But
turn him into a street striker.
But there was that element though with Patrick Roberts when he first went from. He looked quality for Fulham as a 17-year-old, and he was
decent at Celtic as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he went to that. He had that big transfer to Man City, and there was all that stuff. He was almost the prelude to Phil Foden. There was that expectation that he was going to be this next big thing, and it just never happened. And loan upon loan. I mean, he's still at City.
Who's
City is still loaning.
I feel like he's going to end up being a bit of a Ravel Morrison or something, just falling away and playing basically anywhere that'll pay him. Really.
Yeah, Ravel Morrison's has got the skills and the talent. His issue is the attitude. Patrick Roberts hasn't got an issue with his attitude.
Sheffield United anymore, is he?
No, he's left there as well now. But I think Patrick Roberts is likely to be a bit of a Luke Chadwick.
I don't say that. He came to Norwich.
Yeah, he was at Reading for a while as well. But yeah,
we're both shit out of luck then.
We both had to watch Luke Chadwick.
To be fair, he's already been at Norwich. What the fuck am I talking about?
Patrick Roberts has been there. We don't want him. He wouldn't get in our team. He'd want to cancel his loan after a couple of weeks.
So you've got 9 minutes to the deadline, Neil. What's going to happen?
9 minutes. We are waiting to see whether Minamino goes over the line, whether King is a completed deal.
Well, Minamino's not been able to get the ball over the line all season, has he?
Well, he's barely been able to get his foot over a line. So, getting a ball over is always a big ask. We are just waiting on these final bits to come through. What have we got here? And do you know what? Is it a case of... is it COVID must have had an impact? I mean, the deals, when you look at the money spent, the biggest deal still sits at that £14 million that Villa paid for Morgan Sanson.
Yeah.
And I mean, when this is done, all said and done, at the end of it, you look at how much is spent in January normally compared to this year, and I mean, it is a drastic drop.
Do you reckon as well, obviously, the amount of injuries there's been this season,
Yeah.
does that sort of put people off sort of paying any sort of decent money for any player? Because the amount of games, they could just end up getting injured within the first couple of games due to the amount of games.
I suppose it's had an effect. I suppose if you're one of the bigger clubs, though, you want to backfill so you don't end up in a sticky situation. I'm still surprised Villa didn't sign a striker, even if they got someone in on loan, purely because if Ollie Watkins gets an injury, they're screwed.
Yeah.
They are screwed.
Yeah.
Their option is either to play El Ghazi, Traore, or Keenan Davis.
Yeah.
As the centre forward. Now, if you go...
I personally think you'd stick Grealish up there.
But you lose everything else then, don't you?
Yeah. If you got Barkley in there.
Yeah, nah. Well, Morgan Sanson as well.
I mean, I'm not saying it's ideal, but I think, do you know what I mean? He's more of a goal threat. Maybe El Ghazi, but other than that, I think Grealish is probably your biggest goal threat, isn't he?
Yeah, probably. Unless they pushed Barkley forward and played Sanson behind him.
Yeah.
That would be your other option. But obviously, Trezeguet and El Ghazi aren't even in the team now. Now Barkley's back. They're both sat on the bench all the time. So
when's Wesley fit?
They don't reckon he'll be back until the end of mid-March. So it's not long. Not long.
No.
But if
not really. Unless Ollie Watkins gets injured within the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, then you're fairly safe. But then Wesley's going to be back. He's not going to be fit. He ain't going to be fit until next season. So it would be a big ask.
I'm very surprised to see Manchester United haven't done anything. I think this is probably the closest they've been.
Yeah, to a title.
Or could be, even in the next couple of years. This is probably the closest they could be to it. And you'd think they'd want to chuck something at it, really, wouldn't you? Have a proper go at it.
Yeah. You at least try and bring one person in.
Yeah. I mean, they were saying they wanted a backup right back, weren't they, for Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah, and obviously they did. I mean, Fosu Mensah, who would have been that backup right back, or one of them, has gone.
Yeah.
All the others.
Interesting. Never went any further than just interest.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that haven't happened that you thought might do. I mean, we had the conversation a couple of weeks ago around who people needed to sign to push them over the line, and no one's really done anything. Liverpool have had to sign centre backs because they just don't have any.
Yeah.
Villa didn't need to sign anyone, but they've bought in Morgan Sanson. He's been floating around, rumours around him for a while, so it wasn't a surprise when the option came up to get him for that value. It wasn't any kind of shock, but Arsenal bringing in Odegaard, and he's there to theoretically he's there to replace Ozil, but is it because Ozil wasn't playing anyway?
I think as well as sort of just to take some of the weight of expectation and like I said, the amount of games off of Smith Rowe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I think as well, if he hadn't been signed in January, not January, in the summer, I think Willian could have found himself out as well.
Yeah.
If he had come in the summer, because I mean, I think he's just been poor, hasn't he? I think Pepe started to pick up a little bit. I think he looks on the left-hand side than the right.
Yeah. I'm surprised Willian has been as bad as he has been.
I think it is genuinely just sort of just a loss of form. I don't think he's disinterested, because he doesn't strike me as that sort of player, really.
No.
So hopefully, he can turn it around in like maybe the Europa League or something. But I mean, that's a tough game coming up.
Yes. Yeah. Arsenal need to turn up for that one. Otherwise, your Thursday nights could be dead as well.
Yeah.
Apparently,
maybe Fabio could come on here and take my place if Arsenal lose.
Apparently, Reading are being linked with a late move from Mo Besic.
Okay.
Don't know where he'd play. Wouldn't get into the team as it stands at the moment.
Who's he at currently?
Everton still.
Okay.
Again, been there for ages, but the last couple of years, he was a regular for a while at Everton, but the last couple of years, he's found himself out on loan in the Championship on a regular basis. But yeah.
Well, Everton look a completely different team this season, don't they, to be honest?
Who? Everton?
I mean, except for losing to Newcastle.
That was a shock.
Steve Bruce obviously done his homework on the correct team.
He did.
Instead of scouting Exeter or something.
Didn't play Joe Linton, did he? And I'm just having a little look to see if there's anything happening with the Diego Rossi thing. That's the guy, the Uruguayan guy who is at...
Who's that, sorry?
Diego Rossi, who is at LA...
Oh, yeah.
FC or Los Angeles FC. Yeah, the guy that Reading were looking at. But it doesn't look as though anything's happening there either. And we are pretty much on that 11 o'clock. There's normally the countdown, isn't there? But
yeah. Just couple of other things with Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
That I've heard and not really seen anything else about. Obviously, I kept hearing that Torreira and Guendouzi were getting recalled, but I've not heard anything else about that.
Torreira was only going to be recalled if there was interest from somewhere else.
Yeah, because he's not playing at Atletico, is he?
No. And Guendouzi was someone wanted to buy him, or there was a swap deal somewhere. PSG were interested.
Okay.
PSG were interested. Where's he on loan at?
Hertha Berlin, I think.
Yes,
isn't he?
That's right. Yeah. And PSG were interested.
He's playing really well there.
Yeah. PSG were interested before Pochettino went in.
Yeah.
And that sort of went quiet after.
PSG haven't done anything really, have they?
No, not really.
I mean, none of the big clubs, I think, have done anything yet, have they? Real Madrid obviously got rid of a few people. They got Jovic out on loan.
Yep.
Udegaard. But yeah.
But that looks like
That is it.
It is. It is gone over the line. There is nothing floating around where we are seemingly waiting for, or stuff being said about documents being signed or anything like that. Window is closed. Joe Willock has now officially signed for Newcastle. That has gone through bang on 11 o'clock. Good old Joe. Waiting and waiting and waiting. And then at 11 o'clock he goes, oh, fuck it. All right then. No one else has come in. He was playing an Edison Cavani. No one else came in at the end. So he went, oh, bollocks, Newcastle it is.
I still think that's a really, really good move for him.
I think it's a good move for him. It's a fantastic move for Newcastle.
He's not getting any sort of games at Arsenal now, unless it's in the Europa League, and that could only be one game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. It may not last for long. I'm just flicking through to see if there is anything else. The deal sheet. Whoa, there we go. The deal sheet for Takumi Minamino's proposed loan move from from Liverpool to Southampton has been submitted to the Premier League.
Yeah.
So he looks like he's going to be going there. Is Yoshida still there?
Who?
Is Maya Yoshida still at Southampton? If not, Southampton.
I couldn't tell you.
If not, Southampton keep their Japanese links up by bringing in a new one. Brilliant. Maxim Lemarchand has joined Royal Antwerp from Fulham. He's played twice for Fulham this season and not since October. See you later, son. No one's going to miss you. West Brom have already done a mock-up of Ainsley Maitland-Niles wearing a
Sitting on a bench.
West Brom kit. He suits it. I'm pretty sure it says Championship 2021-22, but we'll see. We'll see. Good luck to him. At some point, Sam's got to get relegated. Why not now?
I don't know, the best English manager ever, isn't he? 100% record.
Of never getting relegated.
And for England.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Best English manager, best England manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Eddie Nolan. Remember him?
No.
Used to play for Chelsea. He was a youngster at Chelsea. Wasn't very good.
What was his name? Eddie Nolan.
Eddie Nolan, yeah.
No.
Apparently he's joined Motherwell on loan.
Oh, good for him.
And that's the and that's where we sign off, guys.
And that's the extent of transfer day, really, isn't it?
Will Grigg has signed for MK Dons and Eddie Nolan who's joined Motherwell.
Brilliant.
Guys,
what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. What a transfer deadline day it has been. It's been full of twists and turns and excitement. And Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going to get relegated with West Brom. Guys, you heard it here first. Final comments, Coop?
I've had a brilliant night.
It's been good.
And I'm just looking forward to a summer transfer window deadline day where people can spend big money and we can bring a little bit more excitement.
Fingers crossed. So basically,
and I've thoroughly enjoyed my knobhead of the week.
Yeah, knobhead of the week. Fingers crossed. We don't have to worry about COVID come the summer. Back off COVID. Let's get some transfers done properly. I suppose what we now need to keep an eye on is contracts ending and who's going to be nabbing those guys. We've got that for a couple of months. We've got a title running. We've got a championship running. We'll have updates on the Portuguese league, the Italian league. We'll get some updates in from the German league as well when I can start to work that in. And do you know what, mate?
And obviously we've got Champions League and Europa League starting back up this month.
We've got Europa League. We'll be looking at what England can do when it gets to the Euros, if we're allowed to travel somewhere. Otherwise, as we said earlier, it could be an esports Euros.
Well, we'll be all right anyway.
We'll be all right, yeah. I don't care.
It's here, isn't it?
Well, no, it's all over Europe.
Oh, what's the one that's in England?
The semis and the final. There are games in England. There are games in England, but the games are being held all over Europe.
Yeah, but we only play at Wembley, don't we? The England team, I think. I think it's worked out. We only play it at Wembley.
If we win our group, we have to win our group and then we play at Wembley all the time. But we've got to win our group. But we're not letting people in the country, so we still might not get games.
Shall we win it by default?
Yay!
That's where the final is, and we're the only team there.
It's coming on. It's coming by default. We'll take anything out. Who cares? Who cares how you win it, as long as you win it?
Ainsley Maitland-Niles, mate, will be lifting that trophy.
Well, guys.
When Bayaka Saka hands it to him to hold.
Yep.
Back at Arsenal, just there you go, mate. That's what it feels like.
On that bombshell, guys, it's been a pleasure. Much love to everyone. We will be back at the normal time for a slightly more normal length show next Wednesday. So a week on Wednesday, back to the normal, where we will start to have a look at other things. We'll have a new Knobhead of the Week for Coop.
Wait.
Knobhead. I'll even do a little audio thing for it. I may even do like a little song intro.
Yeah.
We'll get something going on. But for now, guys, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the remains of transfer deadline day and all those sneaky bastard ones that we haven't been able to bring you because no one's mentioned it, but suddenly someone's filled in a sheet.
I'd also like to say I'm quite happy I made it to the end of the show this week.
Yes. No issues with the CPU usage.
Yeah.
Well done, Coop's laptop. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We will catch you in a week. I will be back on tomorrow lunchtime. I will see you then. Coop, I will see you next week.
Absolutely. Have fun.
Have a good one, guys. Au revoir.